The following is a presentation of ESPN on ABC.
Welcome to the Outback Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. It is a beautiful 80 degrees in Tampa, Florida, as we get a matchup between the SEC and the Big Ten. Number 11, Indiana, with just one loss in the season, looking to close their year in style. Welcome, everybody. Tom Hart alongside Jordan Rogers, Cole Kubelik down on the field. Bowl motivation is a constant theme this time of year, but make no mistake, this is an Indiana team that is properly motivated for this game. They have said that this is their Super Bowl.
Well, maybe a little angry too, right? They're a team that felt like they should have been in the Big Ten championship. Last year, they were so close, took a step in the right direction, but it always was one more drive, one more touchdown, one more this or that. We could have, we should have. This year, Tom Allen said one more, no more. This is the year we take the next step. A win here would propel them into next season where they believe they'll compete for a Big Ten championship.
It's an interesting matchup, offense versus defense. Ole Miss is one of the most prolific offenses in the country under the direction of Lane Kiffin with their fantastic quarterback, Matt Corral.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. High-powered is an understatement for this Ole Miss offense. And Matt Corral, their quarterback, is leading the country in total yards per game. He's one of the most talented throwers of the football I have seen on film in college football. And he's also dynamic with his legs. They provide so many problems to a defense because they can stretch the field and they can stretch it horizontally with speed.
Impressive numbers all season, and you can understand the enthusiasm. Third in the country in yards per game. They score 40.7. The bad news is they give up 40.4. That's a story for another time. The story for Indiana all season, one of the best seasons in school history, has been their defense. They bring pressure, and they take the ball away. We might see a couple of picks today.
Well, heavyweight boxing, it's always about the style of the fight, right? This style is poised for a huge fight because Indiana, they are ball hawks on the back end. 17 interceptions on the year. Lead the country in interceptions per game. They got 2 first-team Big Ten all selections on the back end. They are going to blitz you. It's not just playing on the outside. It's getting pressure on the quarterback to lead those inaccurate throws. That's how they disrupt the offense.
And to your point, not just interceptions, second in the nation in total in just 7 games with 17, but also bringing pressure from the secondary. They've had 7.5 sacks. For more on that, let's go down to the field, get a diagram of the pressure with Cole Kubelik.
Well, Tom, I think there will be 2 big questions for Matt Corral to answer today against this Indiana defense. He wins and loses with his eyes. However, when you take a look at the way that Kane Womack is going to draw this pressure up, there are going to be a lot of different players in different places. First question, where are the defenders? Second question, where are the defenders going to be? Defensive ends going out to the left. D tackles going out to the left. A double A-gap blitz by the linebackers with a free safety falling right up the chute. Your left field safety goes to the right. Your right outside linebacker goes deep left. The recognition and the reads from Matt Corral trying to find out where these defenders start for Indiana and where they finish will be critical for his potential success today.
Speaking of finishing, Indiana didn't do it last year in the Gator Bowl. They're looking to finish their season on a high note today. No disguising the beauty here in Tampa. Fantastic day for football. Kickoff is next between Ole Miss and number 11, Indiana.
This is Capital One Bowl Mania.
Welcome back to the Outback Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. 4-5 Ole Miss out of the SEC, 6-1 Indiana out of the Big Ten. The Hoosiers won the toss. They've elected to defer, so Ole Miss will receive. And Jordan, we might see a wild card in on offense for this Ole Miss team, which is missing significant production on the season. Their top receiver is out, their starting tight end is out, and just today it was announced Jerrion Ealy, their leading running back, will not play. How do they counter that? With a quarterback, John Rice Plumlee, the starter at QB last year, he'll be all over the field today.
Well, we know he's a dynamic athlete, rushed for over 1,000 yards as a starter at quarterback last year in not a full season of work. Look, it's tough to play receiver when you're not a receiver, but we'll see. He's an athlete. They're going to find ways to get him the ball in space because, frankly, they don't have much else on the outside.
Lane Kiffin's offense has been sensational this season. They are top 20 in the FBS in 10 different offensive categories. Good news for Kiffin. They just announced a contract extension before the game today. Looks like he'll be in Oxford for a while. On the other side, Tom Allen, the 2020 Big Ten Coach of the Year, back-to-back bowl seasons for Indiana, and he and his staff have prepared for this game like it's the biggest in Indiana history. Dennis Jackson back to receive to get us started. Jared Smolar will kick off for Indiana. The Hoosiers with a fairy tale season, the lone loss coming to Ohio State. It is 35 degrees and cloudy in Bloomington, Indiana. It is 80 degrees and perfect in Tampa. Jackson with a chance from the 5 and up the sideline and all the way up to the 34-yard line. Matt Corral has immersed himself in this Ole Miss offense, top 3 in school history, with Bo Wallace and Eli Manning in touchdowns responsible for. He's a California kid who played a couple different spots of high school before making his way to Oxford. Split time at quarterback last year with Plumlee. Was an Elite 11 finalist with Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. And oh, by the way, that number 14 is Jack Tuttle, Indiana's starting quarterback today. He's got Henry Parrish Jr. in the backfield with him. Corral comes out throwing. Plenty of space on that completion and all the way down to the 45-yard line for Jaden Jackson. How soon do we see pressure from Indiana?
Well, I think we see it early. Look, Ole Miss wants to get the ball on the edge, on the ground, outside zone read. If I'm Indiana, I'm bringing pressure off both sides with my nickel and corner.
They tried that here. The run goes to the left side and a couple of yards. We'll call it 3 for Parrish, the freshman from Florida out of Columbus High School, coming off of a career high against LSU.
Look, we mentioned the players Ole Miss is missing, but they still have a ton of speed, and that's why Indiana wants to bring that edge pressure to set the edge, make them work up the middle, not side to side.
Corral on play action, goes deep over the middle again. That one's caught by Dontario Drummond, and he gets hit inside the 10, all the way down to the 34-yard line. Pardon me, a gain of 34.
Just a great job by Matt Corral on the play fake, right? All the linebackers, even a safety, sucks up, and that leaves the vacancy for the deep crosser.
Straight ahead run, Parrish. Got to move the pile, getting some help from his offensive line to clean it up. Gain of 5. And we got a flag on the play. ACC crew working this game today. Gary Patterson is our referee.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 64, offense, 15-yard penalty. The down count, it'll be second down. That was number 64's first unsportsmanlike.
Cole, that's Nick Broker, who was trying to move some guys around after the play.
Tom, absolutely the most physical and best finisher for this Ole Miss offensive line. He's a guy that you have to watch to the whistle, past the whistle. There's a play against Arkansas earlier this season where he drives a defender past the goalpost out of the end zone on a goal line play.
John Rice Plumlee in to take a tailback. Corral takes a snap, lobs in zone, and knocked away, incomplete. Trying to find Jonathan Mingo, the leading returning receiver. Jamar Johnson had the coverage.
And this is a guy Ole Miss has to get involved. We mentioned Elijah Moore, one of the best receivers in the entire country, out. Their number 2 receiver, Braylon Sanders, out. Jonathan Mingo is a former 4-star, got a ton of talent, just hasn't gotten the looks because he's been the 3rd best option. He'll get plenty today.
3rd and goal. Corral, design draw, got hit in the backfield, stumbles into the 10-yard line on a pickup of 8. Lane Kiffin, not a fan of field goals. Wouldn't be surprised. Now here they come. They're going to bring the kicker out. Luke Logan has only attempted 6 field goals on the season. Lane is big into analytics. It's simple math many times. 7 is more than 3.
Yeah, and it really sets up the tempo and really the pace of the game, and that's what Indiana's going to have to adjust to, the tempo. Really unfortunate, the personal foul down inside the 5, because Ole Miss looked like they were poised to punch it in.
Mack Brown is the holder. Logan from 26. And Ole Miss able to cap its opening drive with a 3. Rebels up on Indiana. Hoosiers will have the ball when we return. A 7-play, 57-yard drive to get Ole Miss on the scoreboard that took about 2 minutes off the clock. It's 3-0 Rebels, and we'll see Indiana with its first crack. Luke Logan will put it in the air for Ole Miss. Quick bowl trip for the Rebels, but they get to stay an extra night. Lane Kiffin said, fellas, just be ready for the plane to leave tomorrow late morning. Otherwise, enjoy this bowl trip. Be a lot more enjoyable if they could find a victory.
Yeah, it's either a fun night or a long, miserable one, depending on how this game goes.
No return for Indiana, and we see the second career start for the San Marcos, California native Jack Tuttle at quarterback. You know, Michael Penix, their fantastic quarterback, was injured in the Maryland game. Tuttle took over for him, went 5 for 5 in that one, then started in Wisconsin. Both of his parents graduated from IU. He was born in Indianapolis, and then Southern California, where he was a San Diego Offensive Player of the Year, 4-star recruit. Initially went to Salt Lake City to play for Utah. Couldn't get off the bench, decided to transfer mid-season. He said, I don't regret any decision I've made. First start came against Wisconsin, 13 of 22 for 130. And on play action on first down, he will roll out and find his receiver, and they got room up the sideline with Rock Fillier, who goes for 14.
We're going to get a really good idea of what Jack Tuttle is comfortable with. First-year offensive coordinator Nick Sheridan mentioned to us, when you have a new starter, just his second start, you really got to hone in on what he feels best with. Quarterback feels good about something, it usually translates to a good play already. Getting him outside the pocket, getting the mess out of the way, easy completion.
Got a good running back with them. They flip it out to Fillier again. Great blocking on the edge, but that will lead to a flag. Looked like it was Hendershot who will get flagged for the hold. It's a gain of 8 if it stands.
Holding. Offense, number 3. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Apologies, Hendershot. That was Ty Freifogel, the senior from Mississippi.
And Freifogel is a guy that really got to get involved. He had 2 back-to-back 200-yard games, and since then just 3 receptions, 45 yards. They tried to get him the ball vertically against Wisconsin, just not on the same page with Tuttle. So really interested to see how their chemistry is developed over the time off.
Big Ten wide receiver of the year, the first ever in Indiana history. A lot of firsts for this program this season. Ole Miss brings 3. And they go with an underneath route. Fillier trying to find the edge, lost his footing. Picks up just 1. This will be second and long as David Ellis enters for Indiana. He's versatile. This is a Indiana offense, which is 118th in rushing, top 40 in passing. But of course, that was with Michael Penix Jr. at the helm for the majority of the season. 4 wide now, empty backfield for Tuttle.
Nobody on Freifogel in the slot up top.
Tuttle doesn't see him, goes on a crossing route instead, and Fillier, who's obviously a focal point of this Indiana offense, but that time he gets only 4.
Yeah, it's a good compliment with Freifogel because they're different bodies, right? He's a shorter guy. He's going to work over the middle. He's shiftier. Tough to find him in zone and man coverage.
Third down 11. IU's had some third down issues this season. Pressure coming up the middle. Tuttle drifts, unloads, deep out, and over the head of Watt Fillier and incomplete. And Ole Miss will force a punt.
It's just a bunch formation. Indiana loves working out of this. It's confusing for a defense. You got to play off. Someone's got to play up, and this is just a great route by Watt Fillier. And quarterback Jack Tuttle drifted a little bit on that throw. Drifted to his left. That throw was a little high, and that's probably why.
Obviously, they saw something they liked with the matchup with Fillier. 5 plays, 5 targets. The all-conference wide receiver. Hayden Whitehead is the punter, and this is a beauty. It'll carry all the way down to the 5-yard line. Dontario Drummond makes it out to about the 14. A 51-yard punt, only 3 on the return. Fantastic special teams coverage by Indiana. What a day. College football coming your way on ABC as we continue with Ole Miss up 3-zip.
The Outback Bowl on ABC. is brought to you by Outback Steakhouse.
Oh, what a fantastic history of this bowl game here at Raymond James Stadium. Top 20 showdown last year. It was Auburn again. They lost to Minnesota 31-24 in a high-scoring affair. If Ole Miss continues what they did on that first drive, it looks like their missing personnel won't be much of an issue in terms of the tempo and production.
The tempo will be an issue for Indiana. They haven't played anybody that goes as fast as Ole Miss.
Parrish is the running back. He gets it off the right side and is able to pick up 4. Let's take a look at today's Chick-fil-A impact players.
We mentioned earlier for Ole Miss, John Rice Plumlee, who's a quarterback, the starter at quarterback last year. He's a dynamic athlete, and with the weapons that are out, he's going to be a focal point, 40 to 50 snaps, and then the first team All Big Ten, Tywan Mullen on the back end.
Parrish off the pitch is able to pick up the first down for Ole Miss and take it out to the 29. We talk a lot about Lane Kiffin's offense and the tempo they run. They're a very good running team. It's not just all through the air.
No, that's the misconception of Lane Kiffin, but without Jerrion Ealy, you're going to see right now John Rice Plumlee in the backfield. He'll get handoffs. They'll work him into the flats to try to get him easy touches.
Some confusion for IU. They ran a defender on, took him off. Sideline shot on the wheel, and Plumlee has it bounce off of his hands. That's quarterback to quarterback. It sounds simple, but making the change is not easy.
It's not, and as the ball's in the air, I'm going, this is such a hard catch. I, at one point in my career on a scout team, had to switch to receiver. You're just not used to running downfield, looking over your shoulder and tracking a football. It sounds easy. You've done it 100 times as a kid in the backyard, but it's different when the helmet's on and there's guys chasing you.
Quick hitter, almost intercepted. Fantastic opportunistic defense all season. That was Reese Taylor. Honorable mention all conference out of Ben Davis in Indianapolis.
Boy, Taylor makes a great read on this, and that's true freshman DeMarcus Thomas out there, number 82 for Ole Miss. You got to pick a guy, right? If there's one over you, you got to slam him aggressively. Otherwise, that could have been 6 going the other way.
Second in the country in interceptions this season. Corral has time, sidearms it, and he works it out to Snoop Connor. And what we've seen from Matt Corral, he's so good changing arm angle to get balls away.
Yeah, this throw is, it may look routine. It's anything but routine. His ability to change his arm slot. Throw sidearm at times. It's a lot like what Patrick Mahomes does. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes, but his ability to throw sidearm and still have the velocity and accuracy, that's special. Not many guys can do it.
Indiana forces a 3-and-out. Mac Brown on to punt for Ole Miss. Reese Taylor back to receive. Not a great looking punt, but it'll take an Ole Miss hop, and Taylor falls on it before it gets any farther downfield. 46-yard punt. Hey, speaking of Mac Brown, he's part of this. 2 last bowl games, and they're on ESPN and the app today. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Number 25, Oregon takes out number 10, Iowa State in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Then it's 5th-ranked Texas A&M and number 13, North Carolina in the Capital One Orange Bowl at Hard Rock Stadium. First New Year's 6 for Iowa State, a school record 4th consecutive bowl game.
And Texas A&M with a lot to prove. They thought they should have been in the playoffs. We saw what Ohio State did when people thought they maybe shouldn't. A&M's got a big test today with North Carolina.
Momentum's a funny thing in college football. It would be even more hard to pinpoint going into this offseason. No one knows what it's going to look like going into spring practice and then next season. I feel like A&M is a team with a win tonight could take momentum into whatever's next.
Oh, it's a young team, right? Especially on offense. The interesting thing for A&M will be, does Kellen Mond decide to use that free year that the NCAA gave everybody and come back for a 5th year as a starter?
Samson James has entered the game at running back for Indiana. Rebels show pressure. Otis Reese backs off. It comes from the other side now. Tuttle goes to the slant. Right back to Fillier, trying to work through traffic. And he's banging bumpers out there, picks up 5, and that's going to leave 3rd and short. Let's take another look at today's Chick-fil-A impact players when Indiana has the ball.
Big Ten wide receiver of the year, Ty Freifogel. Got to find ways to get him the football. Right now, Ole Miss is playing man on the outside and zone on the middle because of those crossers. And then for Ole Miss, Otis Reese, just eligible a few weeks ago, about a month ago, for the Egg Bowl, transfer from Georgia, the most talented player on the defense, a defense that's been struggling. DJ
Durkin is their defensive coordinator, and Reese came out to play against Mississippi State in a rivalry game. He said he hadn't played all year for us. He's the best defender for us. He had 8 tackles in his debut. Straight ahead run, and in Indiana, first down for Stevie Scott III, the two-time all-conference performer.
It's just a great cutback there. It's zoned to the front side. Caleb Jones, the big, and I say big, 6'8", 365 pounds tackle, got a big push there.
They've moved their tackles around. Penix, a lefty. Tuttle, a righty. And with the quarterback's handedness figuring in sometimes. On time and on target, and right at the marker on a gain of 9. To see if they had enough for the first down. Might be just short on the completion of Freifogel, his first catch.
Tom, you mentioned Caleb Jones, big offensive tackle. The quarantine was difficult on all of us from a weight perspective. It's something that he's battled since he arrived in Bloomington. I talked to offensive line coach Darren Hiller, and he said that it was a little more difficult for Caleb because his dad owns a soul food restaurant called His Place Eatery in Indianapolis, and the food is to die for. He knows good food, he loves good food, and got a lot of good food during the quarantine.
Yeah, the struggle is real for all of us, but I wouldn't mind going to his place. 6'8", 362 is what he's listed at.
He's got a ton of natural ability. Obviously, when you're that tall, you got to learn to get low and bend as a tackle, but he's got a bright future.
I think that flexibility is going to be key for him, Jordan. If he improves that, you're going to be talking about a big-time tackle in the Big Ten next few years.
Tuttle with the handoff. This is Watt Fillier at the running back position now, and he's able to pick up 8. They'll move a lot of guys around, and they want to make sure that everyone stays fresh in this one. 80 degrees today. The last time Indiana played was weeks ago, and it was 22 degrees and snowing, and they only ran 50 offensive plays.
It's going to be a little different. We're going to get the liquids on the sideline as much as possible.
Injured player on the field for Ole Miss. We'll return to Tampa in a moment.
National Championship game, Monday, January 11th on ESPN.
Jalen Jordan was the injured rebel in and out of the tent while we were at commercial break. Helmet back on, looks ready to go. 2nd and 2 for Indiana.
2nd and 2, 40-yard line. Feels like a shot play. This is the area of the field you can take a chance.
Ellis joins in the backfield. Wide receiver / running back, and he's able to pick up the first down with a pickup of 4.
Or Tom, you can just hand it off, pick up the first down.
It's the first time you've been wrong this year.
Right now, Ole Miss playing in a cover 2 shell, so there is a safety sitting over the top of Freifogel, who they want to start getting involved. He's seen a lot more man coverage lately. That was some of the miscommunication, some of the accuracies. He's got to work more in space against this structure of defense, but here it looks like he's going to be manned up.
2 tight ends in the game for Indiana, Hendershot and Bjorson.
Top of your screen, Freifogel.
Slipping on the turf is Ellis. No gain. How can Indiana be at its most efficient offensively? What do they need to do?
Well, against this structure zone where they're giving you space, they got to be really good at the quick game. And we've seen Watt Fillier get involved. They got to work in space. That's where you mix in the run to open up the zone holes.
Tim Baldwin is in at running back now. He'll get a chance. First touch, able to pick up a couple of yards. Jack Tuttle making his 2nd career start today for Indiana at quarterback. He was a great athlete growing up in Southern California. Soccer, basketball, lacrosse. This is the 10th play of the drive for Indiana. He said, really gave me a feel for all sports to be that versatile.
Ole Miss looks like they're going to bring some pressure at the bottom here.
May have jumped. Here's the flag. Tuttle's got a free shot. He's going to take it deep. It is caught at the 2-yard line. No, now they say incomplete. That's been an issue for Tuttle in his last 2 games.
And on this exact route. This is just a go ball.
Defense, number 32 in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
Just a go ball on the outside, and against Wisconsin, 5 of Jack Tuttle's 9 incompletions came on this route, and it was kind of because he threw the ball in between, not quite out in front and not quite a back shoulder. As you see this one, it makes it tough on the receiver when it's right down the middle. You either got to slow him down on a back shoulder,
an incomplete pass. Previous play is under further review,
or throw it with enough air that it becomes a 50-50 ball. That one is really tough on the outside for Miles Marshall.
Joe Ryder is our replay official. Extra looks at this one. It can touch the ground as long as it's in control. I agree.
But again, it's just Tuttle made it a little too hard on him, right? You either got to throw that 3 or 4 yards more behind so the receiver can actually slow down, square up to the ball, up around his chin or back shoulder, or you throw that over the top and you let your playmaker go up and make a play. In between's really tough on a receiver, but that is a great play and a great catch by Miles Marshall.
Is that a field thing? Is that a matter of reps with your receivers?
Totally. One thing you notice about Tuttle is against Wisconsin, all the short throws, the timing throws, as we call it for quarterbacks, he was great on, because you know where the receiver's going to be and you know when the ball comes out. The field throws, these ones, he struggled on. And you imagine so. The lack of chemistry, the lack of starts.
Upstairs, they're looking at a couple of different things on this. First, they have to decide if he had control of it.
And where his feet are?
Yeah, number 2 is whether or not he was out of bounds.
It's tough to tell from this angle when he has control. If a knee or a foot comes down, this is going to be a good angle we have right here. Watch that back foot. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that left foot comes out before he has control, and that's the first thing that comes out. So unfortunately, that
Gary Patterson.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Third down.
Yeah, that first angle, I think you were wondering, did it hit the ground? Right, check that box. It was a great catch, but so hard on the sideline when the ball is short to know where your back foot is. It's a good job by Keidron Smith there, walling the receiver off to the sideline. That's your friend.
It leaves 3rd and 2.
You got Whop Fillier here in the slot with a lot of space. Looks like it's going to be a man.
Scott picks up only 1. Charles Campbell is Indiana's kicker. He's got a long of 52 this season. 4th and short, they're going to leave the offense on the field.
Love it. Bring an extra tight end here. Get bigger. Cause Ole Miss to bring a linebacker in the game.
They'll rush to the line. 2 tight ends in. They're 5 of 11 on 4th down this season. Stevie Scott III is the tailback for Tuttle. Scott crawls forward and he picks up the in and a first down, but there's a flag on the play. Extra movement for Indiana.
Illegal shift. Offense. 2 men moving without getting set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
Those are the little things, right? You got a quarterback making his 2nd start. First and foremost, even with tempo, you got to make sure everybody is set before you send that jet motion guy. Too bad, too. That's a great run. Little sidestep there to get vertical. And now, hey, you got to kick it.
Yeah, turns it into 4th and 6. Campbell got off to a remarkable start. He made his first 21 field goal attempts as a Hoosier. This will be from 50. Made from 52 against Michigan. He's got the leg, and he splits it. And we are locked at 3 after that drive by Indiana. Campbell now 9 of 10 on the season. It caps an 11-play, 49-yard drive. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, Allstate. Tom Allen's team able to get down the field just a foot away from first and goal at the 2. Ended up settling for the field goal. A couple mistakes for both teams early on in the red zone. Dennis Jackson back to receive for Ole Miss. Jared Smoller will put it in the air. No return. Busy day in college football. Busy night. Let's get you to the studio. Hello, Matt Berry. Cavassier Smoke, the best name in college football. Up and down season for Kentucky. Same can be said for Ole Miss. Corral has it batted up in the air off of the shoulder pads of Jonathan Mingo.
I would have gone Master Teague there, but
yeah, you know who's playing.
Smoke Monday. It's not a bad one either. This is where Matt Corral's got to be careful. He wanted the inside slant.
Back at it and incomplete that time, trying to find Jaden Jackson.
And what you're going to notice is Indiana plays a lot of what we call vision coverage. It's a zone coverage where these underneath players and safeties have predetermined drops. They're going to try to get to a landmark, and then they're going to turn and find the quarterback's eyes. So Corral's going to be careful trying to fit these balls into windows because all these defenders have eyes on them.
Corral has a propensity to turn it over. He did it against Arkansas and LSU in bunches this season. 3rd and 10. On a line, complete for a first down. It's Casey Kelly who turns it upfield for a pickup of 20. Just the 3rd catch of the season for Kelly.
Yeah, just working in this zone coverage. Here comes the tempo.
Corral quick to the outside, a little low for Mingo. And they say he caught it going down right at the marker. It'll be a first down.
That's a great answer right there by Matt Corral. That was not the play call, but Indiana brought corner pressure. Anytime that corner comes, you replace him.
Double digs, that one incomplete. Tough to throw against Indiana. Taiwan Mullen, first team all Big Ten defensive back. Mullen, the first Indiana cornerback to be named first team all conference since Tracy Porter 13 seasons ago. They've got depth. They might need it. They're replacing a lot of defensive backs as this game goes along. Jalen Williams now onto the field. Corral has all day, and it goes underneath to his running back Parrish. Pick up a 14.
And this is what you have to do against vision coverage, and something that Matt Corral has struggled with, using his eyes. He loves to use his eyes to move defenders, but when you play a team that has eyes on you, if it's not there, you check it down and live to play another down.
Injured Indiana player.
They'll stop the clock with an Indiana player going down. The tempo is certainly a concern. It's
You're going to see Matt Corral's eyes here. Watch this. He's looking downfield. He really wants to throw to the left. He's trying to move a safety. It's not there. Check it down, because there was a few games this year where he got in trouble. Arkansas threw a boatload of interceptions, 6 interceptions against Arkansas because he was forcing throws into zone coverage when the zone was soft. If it's not there, check it down and move on.
Sio Nofo Angatotoa, it was the injured Indiana player, defensive lineman, back to his feet. Crowd top 10 in a ton of different categories offensively, but you mentioned the turnovers in that Arkansas game. He also did the same against LSU. 5 interceptions and a late fumble.
And when it rains, it pours, right? I mean, he's a guy that he doesn't lack confidence. So even if he throws a few, he still feels like he can make every single throw. And against this secondary for Indiana, you don't want to do that.
5 TDs and 11 picks in those 2 games. The rest of the season, 363 yards a game with better than a 7-to-1 ratio. Parrish gets drilled in the backfield, nowhere to go. Fantastic pressure will lead to a loss of 4. Aaron Casey with the hit.
That's a great job by Casey, just identifying the movement from the O-line and shooting the gap right there. He sees the lane, miss block, get vertical.
2nd and long to the tight end. Another first down. Back to Casey Kelly again. Missing Kenny Yeboah, the talented tight end who was opted out, and Kelly replacing him.
This is where the tempo gets dangerous. Indiana's got to get the play call in, got to get their cleats in the ground.
So they convert a 2nd and 13. Corral to the slant. Mingo, and we got a yard sale. The helmet coming off, the headband coming off. Pick up a 13. Mingo will have to exit for a play.
Helmet off. First down.
It's a great accurate throw, a physical catch in traffic, just man coverage, and that's their go-to guy. With 3 of their top pass catchers out, Mingo's going to get a lot of those opportunities in man coverage.
10th play of the drive for the Rebels. Corral backs up, lobs, incomplete. DeMarcus Elliott brought the pressure for the Hoosiers. Air heavy on this drive. 9 pass attempts, just 1 run.
You got the quarterback, backup quarterback, John Rice Plumlee in slot at the top of your screen. Got some room to work with.
Corral pulls it back, delivers incomplete. We've seen a couple of guys slip onto Bermuda today, and that time Drummond couldn't make the cutback. Pressure came from, Reese Taylor in the secondary for Indiana.
On 3rd down, Ole Miss has got to have their ears up for pressure. Indiana has the line stacked. Let's see if they bring it.
Corral, end zone, incomplete. Coverage on the back end for Indiana from Cam Jones, a linebacker, the Big Ten performer. And that'll set up another field goal attempt for Ole Miss.
Great coverage. Just saw Jonathan Mingo make a contested catch on a slant route to the left. You see Micah McFadden. And Indiana providing a little pressure on Corral and just off the hands.
Logan is made from 26. They'll call this a 25-yard attempt. And he punches it through. Ole Miss's dynamic offense, top 20 in the FBS in 10 different offensive categories, has been limited to a pair of field goals here in the first quarter after a couple of impressive drives.
Not what we expected as a start for Ole Miss, but then again, you can understand a slow start with the weapons that they're missing. Again, to reiterate, 75% of Matt Corral's passing yards are not in the game today. And Indiana's got a dang good defense, so you can understand why we got a little bit of a chess match here early.
Three seconds left in the quarter. Ole Miss has doubled up Indiana on first downs, even though the Hoosiers have an advantage in time of possession. That was a 13-play, 68-yard drive for Lane Kiffin's offense, directed by OC Jeff Levy. Matt Corral is only 8 of 17 in this game. 3 consecutive incompletions after they had 1st and goal at the 7. big time on the kickoff. It's Ellis on the return. Ellis finds the edge, and he's forced out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. Let's take a look at the hot topics around college football, brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. And straight off the flat top, look at number 3. Texas has parted ways with head coach Tom Herman. Steve Sarkisian, Alabama's OC and potential candidate to replace him. Were you surprised when you heard that news this morning?
I was a little surprised, but it's an unbelievable hire if it does come to fruition for Texas. I think Steve Sarkisian, I know he's got a ton of talent and weapons, but he's done one of the best jobs in all of college football at creating plays. It's a completely different offense than it was last year with Tua.
Fillier joins the backfield. They swing it out to him, trying to make the first man miss. That's Reese, and instead he'll scramble out to stop the clock with 12 seconds left. And the play clock, pardon me, the game clock will roll to zeros. Special teams a key early in this one. It's a 6-3 Ole Miss lead. It's the SEC versus the Big Ten. The Outback Bowl will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Snow in the Midwest today. Miserable weather there. Beautiful here. Outback Bowl rolls into the second quarter, 80 degrees in Tampa. Ole Miss up 6-3. Out of the shotgun, Jack Tuttle. As Indiana looks at a 2nd and 10 to start the second quarter, he finds Whop Fillier. And Fillier's going to reverse direction, looking for a block. Tuttle getting in the way, and they throw him down all the way back at the 20. It's a loss of 12 yards.
That's a great tackle by Sam Williams on the backside. They're giving a lot of cushion to Whop Fillier there. Just take it, but you got to know when this play is over. You love a playmaker trying to make something happen, but you go from 2nd and 7 or 8 to 3rd and a mile.
Yeah, it would have been a gain of 4. Instead, it's a loss of 12. And this will leave 3rd and 22.
Not many plays here for this, Tom.
No.
Not a play call sheet for 3rd and 20 is a little short.
Ole Miss rushes 4. They almost got to him. Stevie Scott breaks some tackles and takes it to the 40. There's your 3rd and 20 play. Find your 2-time all-conference running back out of the backfield.
And again, Sam Williams, who made the tackle on the last play, coming from the left side here, just beats Caleb Jones. We talked about Caleb Jones being able to bend and get around the corner. Williams with too much speed, but a great job by Jack Tuttle. That's something that you can't coach. You either have or you don't, especially when you haven't had a ton of starts in your belt. Took a big hit, but got rid of the ball. Picked up a big gain.
Aussie Hayden Whitehead on to punt it away. His first exposure to college football was an Ole Miss game. He watched Ole Miss LSU when LSU had Brad Wing at punter. Dialed that one up on YouTube. Said, hey, maybe I can do this. Ole Miss has Jonathan Mingo. Takes it to the 20. And out to the 23-yard line. 49-yard punt, 10 on the return. Ole Miss has Mingo wide receiver, but that's the man they're really missing. Elijah Moore, one of the top receivers in the entire country, and also a big Hank Williams Jr. fan, apparently. A school record 86 receptions this season. And Todd McShay's got him going in the first round.
I think he absolutely could. I mean, this day and age, you see the shorter, shiftier slot guys being used all over the place.
Say that again.
Shorter, shiftier slot. It's tough. 3 S's there. Probably should have said it a little different, but
alliteration's on point. Sear.
Should add speed to that.
Corral hands it off. Here's Snoop Connor with room, and a flag coming in from behind. Connor would have had a gain of 13. And an injured player for Indiana.
Timeout, injured Indiana player.
Josh Sanguinetti, freshman out of Lauderdale Lakes, Florida. 2 minutes into the second quarter, 6-3 Ole Miss. It seemed Josh Sanguinetti took a knee to the head on that tackle. They just escorted him to the locker room moments ago. And Ole Miss facing a 1st and 20 now. I think as we take another look at number 19, Sanguinetti coming in to make the tackle.
And started on my signal.
Depth will be an issue for Indiana on the defensive side of the ball today. Ole Miss on pace to meet their goal of 80 plays in this game. In fact, they're on pace for about 90. And Indiana has already rotated multiple defensive backs in. Sanguinetti off the field for the time being. Corral 8 of 17 so far. Indecisive. Slings one out to his tight end. And Chase Rogers turns it upfield before getting popped. A pickup of 10. Kane Womack is the defensive coordinator for Indiana. He's on his way to Mobile, Alabama to be the head coach at South Alabama. He brings pressure from the edge. Ontario Drummond with the catch. And he's wearing what looks like Ole Miss powder blue on the sideline. It's not the case, Cole.
No, obviously, you're probably wondering why is the defensive coordinator on another team wearing the other team's colors. But it goes back to Phil Dickens, and there is a Phil Dickens war room inside the Indiana facility where the defensive coaches meet, and there's a blue jersey outside of that. And Kane Womack decided that he wanted to do something a little bit historical for his football team for motivation. And he went back and found Phil Dickerson following the 1947 season. He replaced Bo McMillan. He only was there for a couple of months because of recruiting violations and lost his job. But while he was there, he was able to defeat a couple Big Ten teams and put together a solid record. And he came over from Tennessee where he played running back from General Neyland. And he saw the blue that the basketball team wore. And while things were going pretty miserable for his Indiana football team, he thought, you know what, we're going to switch it up. We're going to try something different. Went to the powder blue jerseys for Indiana, and that's when they racked up some of those Big Ten wins like Minnesota, Michigan State, and Purdue.
And they got a bunch of Big Ten wins this season again on the perimeter. Of course, Ole Miss went back to the powder blue jerseys under Hugh Freeze, but the original powder blue helmets under Coach Vaught back in the late 50s. Kane Womack comes from a coaching family. His dad, Dave, was the DC at Ole Miss under Freeze. Plumlee now in it. Quarterback to take the snap. No zone read, and he hands it off to Snoop Connor. And Connor able to pick up 3.
Yeah, they'll direct snap that to Plumlee. He'll run some. Another player down here for Indiana.
DeMarcus Elliott started the last 5 games for Indiana. This isn't conditioning related. Now looking, or it could be looking at his left leg. Well, Tuesday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN and the app will have the 86th annual Heisman Trophy ceremony, but the first ever virtual presentation. 4 finalists: Alabama quarterback Mac Jones, Crimson Tide wide receiver Devontae Smith, Clemson's Trevor Lawrence, and Florida quarterback Kyle Trask.
Give it to Devontae.
Just give it
to him. 3 touchdowns the other night. That guy, he's been the most outstanding player. And that's to take away from Mac Jones and Kyle Trask. They had historic seasons, but Devontae Smith has been the best player.
Asked after the win last night about it, Mac Jones and Devontae Smith said, "That's rat poison. We're not talking about that because we've got a game to play."
20 touchdowns, all SEC games in a playoff game.
Our Heisman preview brought to you by Nissan. Fans, don't forget to watch the Heisman Trophy ceremony presented by Nissan on Tuesday, January 5th at 7 p.m. on ESPN.
On the other side, though, Mac Jones, highest QBR ever recorded since we began measuring the metric. How's that for maybe second place?
May have gotten his offensive coordinator a job in the Big 12. 2nd and 7. Corral pumps left, looking deep, and he goes back to his check down. Jaden Jackson. Walk us through what Matt Corral is thinking with pumps and goes and throws.
Yeah, he knows where he wants to go with the ball. They lull you to sleep, then they want to take a shot. So he wanted to pump a screen there. It's a screen and go. He's got a guy streaking down the middle. He's trying to get a safety to bite up. They don't. He does a great job of staying patient.
Indiana well aware of his eye talent. Up the sideline, and it is marked right before the stick
It was interesting talking to Jeff Levy, the offensive coordinator for Ole Miss, that Corral never did this until this year. And it wasn't really taught, wasn't told how to do it. So it's something he's adapted to and utilized as a weapon very quickly.
Corral, part-time starter at quarterback last year, straight ahead on 4th and short, and Ole Miss gets it. It'll be a fresh set of downs.
And Levy said it. I pulled up a play in the office, and Corral was sitting down. And he goes, "What are you doing here? Like you pump, and then you're staring the guy down." He threw a pick to the safety, who just ran right where his eyes were. He was like, "You got to stop that. You got to start working on moving guys." And it's been one of the dangerous parts of his game since.
They will bring the chain out to see if they got enough. It's all a cat and mouse game because Kane Womack said, "Listen, we've seen the film. We've told our guys he's going to look at the flat before he goes deep." And so they are very well prepared for it.
And their answer is disguising coverages and holding those safeties and players on a spot really late and then getting them there to try to confuse Corral so he doesn't know where he's going and is not able to pump and be confident in who he's trying to move and where he's trying to go with the football.
Lane Kiffin goes for it on 4th down more than just about anybody. They will embrace the analytics in a big way, where because they go for it so often that on 3rd and short they'll throw, on 3rd and long they'll run, because they know they're always in 4-down territory. 10th play of the drive for Ole Miss. Kelly, the motion man. Pump fake, pressure, and Corral barely escapes it but goes down behind the line of scrimmage. And a sack for Indiana, Jerome Johnson. Another first-team All-Big Ten guy, Jerome Johnson, 6'3", 305, a 5th-year senior up there. It's a good job of getting penetration. He's from little old Bassfield, Mississippi, population 254. Outside, and a gain of 4 on the reception by Snoop Connor.
You got to chip away, Tom. You got to chip away at a defense like this. They're trying to keep everything in front of them. They got eyes on Corral right now. The shots aren't there, so just keep checking it down, and they'll keep dialing it up. Positive plays.
Line shift for Indiana. By the way, one of their defenses, most of them are named after Tampa Bay teams, including Bolt. After the Lightning, pressure, Corral steps up, tries to scramble. He's got the first down and takes it all the way to the 20. 17-yard scramble for Matt Corral.
And that vision coverage, Aaron Casey, the middle linebacker, number 46, is going to drop into coverage, then get eyes. But Ole Miss is able to get 2 blockers out in front. Little simulated quarterback draw there for Matt Corral.
Johnson is down for Indiana. We saw him have the sack a play ago. Lightly recruited at a Bassfield High School, which has since consolidated with their rival school. Former Yellow Jacket.
I don't know how I would have felt about that. As a high schooler, join my rivals.
Didn't have much of a choice. Big history with that Bassfield program in South Mississippi. Jerome's only other offer was Jackson State, and what a fantastic job by Tom Allen and Kane Womack and his Indiana staff developing players. He went from 0 FBS offers to a first-team All-Big Ten defensive tackle.
That's what you got to be able to do as a head coach. And one of the best things Tom Allen does is not just instill culture and develop culture, but develop your players. You got no shot of being successful in this industry if you can't take guys that were unheralded and turn them into productive players, let alone first-team All-Big Ten players, as he's done here.
He's their game wrecker in the middle of that defense. When you watch the film, he's the guy that continuously disrupts, gets pressure. And this is not a group that just relies on athletic talent. Technically, fundamentally very sound as well.
Javon Swan will replace Johnson at tackle. 1st and 10. Corral again. Excuse me, that's Plumlee. Plumlee was coming up. They said, no, get back out there. He's going to line up in the slot on the right side. On 2nd down, Corral to the tight end, and it's dropped. Kelly on the way in. Harvey Chase Rogers.
3rd down.
Let's see. Yeah, that's moving. A good little pop pass here by the tight end. We've been talking a lot about zone coverage, about vision coverage. If and about disguising. Those linebackers stay in the box and then run to their spot. So Ole Miss trying to throw it quick before they can get there.
Takeaways are key for this Indiana team. About a third of their offensive points come after takeaways. There's Plumlee on the slant, no gain. Excuse me, they'll bring up 4th down. Plumlee, the interesting point, he didn't know how to line up as a wide receiver when they first put him out there.
He's going to learn today.
4th and short. Down to the 5, and Henry Parrish is able to pick up the first down for Ole Miss. Rebels picking up the pace. Parrish again cut down. And it'll leave 2nd and goal.
Couple successful runs through the pocket by Corral, by Connor. Here's where you worry about that play fake, where Corral buries that ball into the running back and try to hit a slant, maybe to Mingo right behind him.
18th play of the drive for the Rebels. Corral pulls it back, lob, touchdown, just as you described. You are back on. Casey Kelly with the touchdown catch for the Rebels.
So instead of a slant off that hard play action, they attack the same vacancy that a slant would with a little slip route, a little delay by the tight end, Casey Kelly. This is a great play design. Again, this is what Ole Miss does. They lull you to sleep. Run, 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 and Matt Corral is so good at the play action. He comes from across the formation, and that's so hard for Cam Jones. Right? Cam Jones, number 4 there. He's got to be able to hit the cutback lane and guard the tight end. Puts him in a big bind.
Logan sneaks it through. And 1st and 20 at their own 14 to start the drive. They end up moving all the way down the field with a lengthy possession and use half the clock in the 2nd quarter. Our first touchdown of the game on a pass from Corral to Casey Kelly. Ole Miss up 13-3.
The Outback Bowl on ABC is brought to you by Mercari. Buy and sell almost anything from home with Mercari, your marketplace.
One of the legendary hits in college football history right here in the Outback Bowl. Jadeveon Clowney. Matt Corral after an 18-play, 76-yard drive. Yeah, it's hot out there, 80 degrees. He was telling us it was chilly in Oxford when they left town. All smiles with his head coach, Lane Kiffin. David Ellis stands at his own goal line. It's a Rebel team that's 11-2 in their last 13 bowl games. Indiana hasn't won one since 1991. No return for the Hoosiers. Let's take another look at that Ole Miss touchdown.
Watch the alignment here by Casey Kelly, the tight end. This usually means run to the defense. You're going to see Cam Jones. He's got to first step up to guard for the cutback lane for that running back. And then once Kelly slips past, that's technically his responsibility. But that is such a hard position to be in on the low red zone. You have to play run first. So it's a great play design by offensive coordinator Jeff Levy.
Kelly came in with only 2 catches all season. 2nd string tight end throughout the year. Jack Tuttle, efficient start, 10 of 11 for 51 yards. Pressure from the edge, and Scott can't hold on to it.
They got a new left tackle in the game, Luke Haggard. That was Caleb Jones. Remember the 6'8", 365-pounder. Did get beat off the edge by Sam Williams on one of the plays. Haggard, 6'7", 280. Much more of a body that can move and counteract some of that quickness off the edge.
Out of Petaluma, California, they've moved the O-line around a lot this season. 5 different combinations in their 7 games. 12th in the country in sacks allowed per game. Tuttle Long throw to the outside, complete to Freifogel. And a first down for Indiana, pickup of 20.
And this is what Indiana needs. They've been efficient through the air, but they haven't been as explosive. You're going to see the corner up to the top. Flying over the top. It's a version of cover 2. They're playing a flat defender hard underneath. That opens up that corner route in that vacancy towards the sideline. Great route.
Tuttle, straight drop, going deep down the sideline. Jump ball, and incomplete. Freifogel, the intended receiver. Coverage on the back end by Ja'Cory Hawkins of Ole Miss.
I know this might sound crazy because it was an incompletion, but this is probably the best vertical ball that Jack Tuttle has thrown, right? It wasn't an in-betweener. It wasn't a back shoulder. He gave his big receiver a chance to go up and get the ball. You'd expect Freifogel to come down with that more often than not.
Back to the running game. Pickup of 3 for Ellis.
Really like to see him go back to that bunch set, get Whop Philyor an opportunity to work in coverage. You see down here at the bottom, it's a stack, so it's a version of a bunch set. Creates a problem for the secondary. Expect one to work towards the sideline, maybe.
13 back in the game for Ole Miss. Has not been in those 3 previous pass attempts against Indiana.
And Sam Williams, their sack leader, on 3rd and 7. Tuttle. Fantastic hands in the grab by Philyor for the first down.
That's great. The stack formation there causes one defender to be back. So you build in some green grass for Whop Philyor. That's why I said thought he might attack the sideline there. It's a tight stack. You have a lot of green grass outside, and you see there, great job at the top of his route of giving that defender a move and getting outside.
8 times Philyor's been targeted. 8 times they've completed it to him. And a shot, trying to make up his mind. On a little roll, Tuttle going to look on the run. Got Green in front of him, and he stumbles down to the 35-yard line for a 6-yard run.
I really like Tuttle. You know, it's tough to evaluate a guy in his 2nd start in a bowl game. I'll tell you what, he's been efficient. He's been smart with the football. Hasn't made any mistakes yet. If he can keep doing that, it's going to be a ball game down the stretch.
Played his senior year with Ohio State's Chris Olave. They put up some monster numbers. Tuttle slings one out to Philyor. Another connection with Whop Philyor. Given name Mr. Elias D'Angelo Philyor. Picked up the nickname Whop because he loves Whoppers. So have it your way, Whop.
He's having it his way today. That's for sure. I like a good Whopper. I like a bloomin' onion better.
Two very dependable receivers in Philyor and Freifogel, who's a Mississippi native, whose dad played for Ole Miss. Here's Tuttle, and he picks up the first down. In fact, he was a wide receiver along with Grant Hurd with quarterback Eli Manning, and Eli busy on social media this afternoon. Dad wide receiver with him at Ole Miss. It's official, I am old.
Is there anybody that's been funnier post-career on Twitter than Eli?
No, he's
been awesome.
Probably tweeted that from his sandwich shop.
And I thought Cooper had all the personality of the family.
Well, he's got the next great Manning coming up. Arch. Freifogel ran into his running back. No gain. Ole Miss wide receiver, early 2000s. Trey Freifogel. He was there with Grant Hurd, who's now the wide receivers coach and co-offensive coordinator, who's a 4-year starter for the Rebels. This will be the 10th play of the drive for Indiana. Freifogel, the first wide receiver in Big Ten history with back-to-back 200-yard games. Went off against Ohio State for 218. That was the 5th most productive in school history. Pump and go, and a hit. Lob, nobody there. Boy, Jack Tuttle got absolutely rocked after the pump fake.
A little pump and go, trying to fake the screen. Got 2 guys going vertical. The tight end as well as Freifogel going vertical, trying to hit the outside route. Just really good job by Ole Miss at hitting home.
Timeout.
On a twist there up front.
First timeout of the half. Media timeout.
2:43 to go in the first half. Ole Miss by 10 here in Tampa. Well, it's all set to be a thriller. The national championship game presented by AT&T, Alabama and Ohio State next Monday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. We'll have you covered from every platform: TV, radio, digital. Cole will be tweeting during the game, I'm sure.
3rd and 10. Let's see if they can protect and get enough time. You think they work down here to the bunch and Whop Billiard.
Number 1 in crimson. Tuttle looking that way. Pressured again. It is intercepted. Taken away by Ole Miss. And an opportunity for a return for Otis Reese. He coughed it up on the hit. And it's a scramble for the loose ball. Hoosiers think they got it back. Reese, the Georgia transfer, wasn't eligible until the end of the season. His first game was a rivalry game against Mississippi State. Rebels recover his fumble, and Ole Miss with a dose of Indiana's own medicine, the takeaway.
Otis Reese here on the back end of this bunch. This is the same exact play they tried to hit earlier. Whop Billiard on the corner route. Same thing. Tuttle was falling away. It was just an incompletion because he threw it high. That time couldn't get enough velocity on it because of the pressure. And Otis Reese right where he needs to be. See him falling away with the pressure. Couldn't get enough on that ball to get it up and over Reese. How happy are they to have Otis Reese? Georgia transfer, didn't get eligible till the Egg Bowl, as I mentioned earlier. Got a standing ovation when they announced to the team he was ready to go. And their best playmaker on the back end.
Henry Parrish picks up a couple on first down. Ole Miss has the momentum. They have a chance to really grab this game if they can score before the half. Plumlee on the wheel route. They go instead over the middle, and the pass tipped near the line of scrimmage.
That's a really important drive here.
Alfred Bryant got in there to knock it away. 3rd down 7.
Pressure coming.
Corral tries to pull it down. Instead, it gets taken down. A big sack for Indiana and Cam Jones.
We used to call this one a saw blitz. Sam and Will linebackers here coming off each edge.
Timeout, Indiana. Second timeout of the half.
Cam Jones here on the right side of your screen. He's going to work off the right edge. They're also bringing Micah McFadden up the middle, so an all-out blitz here by Indiana. Cam Jones gets home, and when Indiana needed a stop, down 10 here in the first half, they got it.
Ole Miss has the punt team on the field on a 4th and 11 after the sack by Indiana. Rebels up by 10. Mac Brown punts it away. Catch made inside the 5. The other Mac Brown in action tonight for North Carolina, and the burnt orange, a topic for our Capital One halftime report with Matt, Jesse, and Joey. Tom Herman's out at Texas. Will Texas A&M take out their college football playoff frustration on the Tar Heels tonight? And can the Buckeyes defense stop Bama in the national championship game? Cole, were you surprised by the Tom Herman news today?
I was. I thought they'd give him one more year, but you've heard a lot of noise about it and heard that it was going to be a possibility. And I think you probably were just vetting Steve Sarkisian if he's going to be your guy. What was the interest? Would he take it? There had been some people around Tuscaloosa that really liked the way things were going with Sark and said maybe if Saban did decide to shut it down in the next year, 2 or 3, that he would be a great replacement.
Tuttle's last pass was picked off, operating inside the 5. And wide, trying to find the tight end Hendershot. Still an opportunity here for Ole Miss. 3 timeouts remaining for the Rebels. 1:41 with the clock stopped.
Indiana,
what's the play call here for Indiana?
Well, you got to get Tuttle back comfortable, right? That was a good play call there with just a quick slide out to the short side, but Tuttle just rushed it, threw it in the dirt. To find a way to get him an easy completion, pick up a few yards, get some momentum. That safety blanket has been Watt Fillier all day.
Stevie Scott in the backfield next to Tuttle. Pressure, gets out of the end zone and gets taken down at the 2. First sack of the day for Ole Miss.
Yeah, they're going to call a timeout. Had Watt Fillier going up the seam.
Timeout, Ole Miss.
To see him look left.
Please reset the game clock to 1 minute and 35 seconds.
And just a great job off the edge by Sam Williams.
And Cole, he's working on Luke Haggard at left tackle. It seems like they're going to keep mixing and matching at left tackle. That doesn't seem ideal.
Well, no, but Darren Hiller did tell me he wanted to play multiple guys. He was going to play 3 offensive linemen in the middle, and you've got kind of a swing tackle with Haggard, who he said he was going to get him some reps today. So it's a bowl game. You want to get different guys that have helped you throughout the course of the season some reps. But the difficulty with Sam Williams, when you're an offensive tackle that goes 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", he's so flexible. I mean, he can get that left elbow 2-3 inches off the ground and stay up and still attack the quarterback. If you're that tall and you go down to try to take somebody out, you're going to bend at the waist, your feet are going to stop moving, and all of a sudden, you give him that hump to be able to run to the quarterback.
But whether it's Williams coming off the edge or with a revolving door at left tackle for an inexperienced quarterback facing 3rd and long in your own end zone, it can't be a good feeling.
Well, you got to give yourself some room for a punt here. This might just be a handoff.
Good news is you got one of the best pass protecting running backs in college football in the game right now.
Yeah, true.
He's not afraid to give a hit or take one. That's Scott. Straight ahead. Plenty of room to punt it out of there, especially with a first down. No concern now.
Give yourself some room or pick up the first down. I mean, that's a safe call there by offensive coordinator Nick Sheridan. Now Indiana used a little tempo with still some time to put some points on the board.
Sheridan, the former Michigan quarterback, big win for the Hoosiers against the Wolverines this season. That pass tipped and almost picked. It was John Haynes that time coming over from his safety spot, got his fingertips on it.
They're an obvious passing situation, right? 2-minute drill. So keep an eye on Caleb Jones back in the game, working on Ole Miss's best pass rusher, Sam Williams, off the edge.
Left tackle picks him up nicely. Tuttle left it short, trying to find Fillier. Is he holding his right arm?
Yeah, you know, he took a hit earlier in the game that looked hard. Got up and shook it off, but yeah,
that is bad news for Indiana. Dexter Williams is second. The backup is a true freshman, hadn't taken a snap all season. Scott checking on his quarterback.
And you know, he threw the short one into the dirt. That one came out into the dirt as well.
Developing situation for Indiana. Michael Penix Jr., their starter this season, lost to a torn ACL for the 2nd time in his career. See how this one comes out. Well, he's going to go deep, and it is incomplete. Arm looked okay there, even though it was incomplete, but he's still reaching up for the shoulder.
He had the velocity there for sure, but it's definitely bothering him. Take a look at that on the sideline in the locker room at half, because boy, without him.
Without him, you go to an emergency plan.
Yeah.
Talking with Nick Sheridan, he said, listen, in March when we had to shut down, everyone developed an auxiliary plan at quarterback. And so they have that ready to go. It could involve a couple different people. Beautiful punt. It'll turn Mingo around and be down inside the 20 with under a minute to go. 64-yard punt from Hayden Whitehead. Here's our first star-studded NBA Wednesday doubleheader of the year 2021. ESPN and the app. Jason Tatum and the Celtics are in Miami to take on Jimmy Butler and the Heat at 7:30 Eastern. Then Kawhi and Paul George and the Clippers square off against Steph and the Warriors. Our coverage starts with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.
See that video of Steph Curry making 105 threes in a row the other day?
Yeah, what do you think you got Williams warming up on the Indiana sideline. What would that be like for Cole? Like Curry making 100 straight threes. How would you translate that to Cole's success?
Maybe 100 pieces of candied bacon in a row.
I'll take it.
100 days on the Peloton to follow. Under a minute to go. Corral sidesteps, slings it to a wide open Drummond, and he crawls forward near midfield. 28-yard gain, 2 timeouts on the board for Ole Miss.
Just the arm talent on full display here. Look at this, drifting left, feet facing completely left, no lower body in that, still with enough velocity to get it there.
That one tipped, and it's caught inbounds by the tight end Casey Kelly. Clock rolling. They'll hold on to a timeout here. 2nd and 5.
Indiana bringing pressure.
Catch made, Kelly. That'll be a first down. We'll stop the clock for a minute, and Ole Miss will stop with 18 seconds left in the half.
And Jamar Johnson almost had that one.
That's their 2nd timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Already a 10-point lead for Ole Miss, trying to add to it. They're Lane Kiffin, whose dad, Monty, soon to be in the Buccaneers Ring of Honor, is at the game today. First year at Ole Miss. Let's take a look back at his head coaching career with the Raiders as a fresh-faced youngster in his mid-30s, 5-15 there. Left Oakland for Tennessee. They got his dream job at USC a year later. Down to Southern California, reinvented himself offensively when he went to Nick Saban's staff at Alabama. Then FAU for a few seasons, named Ole Miss's head coach. The Lane train arrived on December 7th. And there's Monty, along with John Rice Plumlee in the middle, and Lane rocking the DK Metcalf jersey. I thought the funniest thing we saw Monty Kiffin on the field before the game is that he returned to this building and he needed a credential.
Yeah. Crazy. Weird, you didn't even need one. Mr. Big Time over here.
I didn't need it for the Vipers game, but I needed it today. 1st and 10, pressure coming from everybody up the middle. Corral trying to escape, stumbled out of the backfield. We'll try to unload over the middle and caught. First down, Ole Miss. Could have been a lot more. A gain of 11. The clock goes to 6.
Timeout, Ole Miss. That's their 3rd and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Little scramble drill for Matt Corral.
That way Indiana brought the house on that one. 2 linebackers and a safety are going to roll down into the box. They're going to bring pressure with the linebackers. The safety is going to peel off as the back releases. But you just got to hit home with one of these, right? I mean, Kane Womack is calling this, knowing he's going to have less guys on the back end. That's why you got to hit home early. You give a quarterback the chance to scramble against a blitz, there's just way too much green grass for Matt Corral to work with.
Jaden Jackson on the catch. Came in with just 1 catch on the season. Corral 21 of 32. It would be nearly a 50-yard field goal if they attempted it from here, and Luke Logan's career long is only 41.
I think you try a quick throw to the perimeter.
You think you got time for one?
What else are you going to do? Unless they're going to take a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, either think, do we get 4 or 5 yards and we feel more comfortable with the field goal, or do we say that's off the table? Let's just take a shot.
IU's got the highest interception rate in the country.
And a quick out down here in the slot.
Showing single high. Here comes a corner blitz. Corral quickly to the outside, and that will leave 1 second on the game clock.
I thought they'd do the quick out with the slot receiver to save a little more time. Ran it with the tight end there, still barely got out of bounds with enough time, and now get a little better field goal.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure they gained a single yard on that.
They did? Sure they. I thought they got they didn't get like a 2 yards,
maybe. 49-yard attempt for Luke Logan would be his career long. Senior from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. He's already made a couple today. Blocked at the line of scrimmage. Scooped up by Indiana. Carried past the line of scrimmage. Somebody lost a shoe.
That's the end of the first half.
And the half will come to an end with Ole Miss leading by 10. The Hoosiers will get the second half kickoff. Great penetration up front. Coming up after the break, Capital One halftime report with Matt, Jesse, and Joey.
This is Capital One Bowl Mania.
Welcome back to Tampa and welcome back to the Outback Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Beautiful 80 degrees here in Tampa as we get set for the second half. Ole Miss with a 13-3 lead over number 11 Indiana. Welcome back. Tom Hart alongside Jordan Rogers, Cole Kubelik down on the field. Indiana may have quarterback health issues. We'll touch on that in just a moment. What did they need to do offensively?
Well, they weren't generating explosive plays even before Tuttle seemed to hurt his shoulder. We'll see how that is. They got to get things going on the ground. Only 141 total yards. Mind you, Ole Miss was one of the worst all year in the country against the run. They got to find ways to move the football. I think it starts on the ground.
Ole Miss came in giving up an average of 40 points a game. They've held Indiana to just a field goal here in the first half. Now, the Rebels offensively have looked pretty good with Corral, even though he's not having a very efficient game.
Yeah, they just got to be careful of pressure. I think early on, Indiana felt like they could get home with 4, and they haven't. So they've dialed up the blitzes. That's where Corral could either hurt you or make a mistake. Watch that in the second half.
Second half underway. No return for the Hoosiers, who will start on offense. Let's take a look at the highlights in the first half. And Corral getting off to a good start. Play action has been the key for him. Time for the national lead and touchdown passes off play action. And a big interception by Otis Reese of Ole Miss. Big in a number of ways, not the least of which was the hit that Tuttle took. And he kept taking hits. And it's hard to pinpoint exactly where his shoulder may have been hurt, but his accuracy fell off immediately. Yeah, he took a few hits, got beat up a little bit, and you can tell right there, shoulders bother him. Sometimes it's a nerve thing. It goes dead a little bit as a quarterback, and you feel like you don't have juice in it. So see how he responds after a halftime in the locker room. Tuttle 13 of 22 in the first half, and Fillier fell on what would have been an on-target throw. Here's a look at the numbers from the first half of action.
Ole Miss really had their way through the air with some explosive plays, and the tempo seems to really be affecting Indiana's ability to line up, as well as their conditioning. And like I said, Indiana got to get things going on the ground offensively to open up some of those shot plays downfield. Ole Miss just sitting in zone right now.
And so 2nd and 10. Going to throw again, and he's able to get it over the middle for a first down and gain of 3. Cole, you talked with Lane Kiffin. What did he have to say?
I just asked him, is 16 rushing attempts enough in the first half? He said, no, absolutely not. We need to stay with that and add to that. Asked him if they were going fast enough as he liked to, and he said, no, we could definitely go faster.
A little bit of cloud cover. It may have cooled just a little bit at the half. That might be good for Indiana. Played their last game in 22 degrees in snow in Wisconsin. So they go straight ahead with the run, and then they had a COVID outbreak. 28 members of the program tested positive. They paused team activities first week of December. Didn't practice again until just a handful of days before Christmas. So bowl prep has been limited for this Indiana program. Second and 6. Tuttle cuts back to his tight end, and Hendershot dropped it. 2 misplays. First for Indiana. Fillier lost his feet, and that time Hendershot didn't catch the ball.
Yeah, that doesn't help out your quarterback that seemingly isn't quite 100%. But interesting to note, I mentioned Ole Miss in the first half playing a lot of zone over the top. That's why those shot plays weren't there. Right now, they're stacking the box, rolling to 1 high, safety down in the box, and playing man coverage on the outside. Could be an opportunity for Indiana. As you see here, 7 guys in the box, 1 high. You got that bunch to the top of your screen. They like to work Whop Fillier out of that.
Pressure up the middle. They pick it up and bat it away. They're going to throw a flag on what looked like a clean play by Keydron Smith. Replay will tell the story.
Defense, number 20. Automatic first down at the spot of the foul.
It's just an option route out of that bunch formation for Whop Fillier. I actually think he might have worked the double move at the top of that route a little bit too long. Watch this at the top of the route. He's going to work on this guy 1, 2, 3, 4 moves. If I'm a quarterback, I want that a little quicker, so you don't give that DB time to close the gap, and he definitely got there a little early.
Yep, agreed. Got in front of him. 1st and 10 now for Indiana. Come back. Freifogel didn't come back, and then we got another flag. Could be Smith again, and he is in disbelief. Freifogel still shaking that arm.
Pass interference. Defense, number 20. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
And they got a couple of these calls against Wisconsin on the same go route to the outside of Freifogel. This ball much better thrown. I know you're looking at it and go, man, he had to stop his momentum. That's great, though. When the DB doesn't have eyes on the ball, you throw that back shoulder to where you slow your receiver out of that vertical route, so he's got a chance to make a 50-50 play. And there, DB's not going to win that one. And a great call on the outside.
Lobbed, sideline, didn't get a toe down. They say no, incomplete to David Ellis.
Timing disrupted on that one. Jack Tuttle had to work to his right in the pocket. He would have liked to get that ball up and out 1 or 2 steps earlier, but had to shift in the pocket to find some space, and that's why that ball ended up out of bounds.
On 2nd and 10, straight ahead and off the hip of Harry Kreider. Cole, pretty good center for the Hoosiers.
Now, I'm not going to argue with anybody who says the center is the smartest person on the team. And Indiana obviously has that proven. Harry Kreider graduated in 5 semesters, fellas.
What?
5 semesters. He's going to get his master's this May. Criminal justice major. Actually wants to be a detective, potentially go into the FBI. So a guy that's obviously smart, using it, and wants to use his degree a little bit later in life, making all those calls up front for the Hoosiers.
Undercover at 6'4", 311 pounds. Took over late in the season last year.
Man coverage at the bottom of your screen here. They swap Whop Fillier maybe for a vertical route out of the slot.
Backpedaling. And once again underthrown and nearly picked as Dean Leonard, the former Calgary Dino, transferred in from north of the border. Pressure from Sam Williams.
Sam Williams has been a nightmare for this Indiana offensive line all day. They started to chip him. That time it was a full slide, so you got your running back, Samson James, one-on-one with Sam Williams. It wasn't even a chip there. It was a full slide. You can't have your back blocking the best pass rusher. Got to find ways to get an offensive lineman on him and then help that offensive lineman out.
This would be an Indiana Bowl record 53-yard field goal for Charles Campbell. He's already made from 50. There it is. 53 yards and a new career high for Campbell, a new Indiana Bowl record. Hoosiers points have come off the leg of Charles Campbell today, and this one from deep, 53 yards as the Hoosiers open the second half with a score. Some energy on the Indiana sideline after they get their second score of this game, opening the second half. I gotta land a plane with that banner. An 8-play, 40-yard drive for Indiana, coming out of the locker room with Jack Tuttle trying to grit his way through this. There's a chair in the air on the Indiana.
We had a wrestling match, got a metal folding chair down there. Look out.
That's beautiful. Cole, what's your vantage point down there? Cole. You're on.
What team are you guys, Blooming Onion or Coconut Shrimp?
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 28.
I'm Blooming Onion, but some of us are working.
Distance to the goal, first down. That's number 28, first unsportsmanlike.
Cole's first question, get in there, big guy. First question to Lane Kiffin last night was Blooming Onion or Coconut Shrimp?
I mean, that thing's going to be gone in like 10 seconds.
I'm working on it, Jordan. Give me a little time.
God, I love the dipping sauce that comes with it,
so
too.
good.
Good.
Yeah.
Hands are full.
Greasy.
Cole, you need a headset and a bib, and you'll be ready to go.
One Christmas, I got one of those to make your own. Yeah, it doesn't work. Just get it from Outback.
No, you got to show up. You can get takeout. That's fine. First play of the second half, an option pitch for the Rebels. And Henry Parrish picks up 4. What was your take on Ole Miss's offense in the first half?
Well, again, they're missing 75% of their production through the air, and it's been an air attack by committee. 8 different guys have caught a football for Matt Corral. So Indiana early was trying to hit home with what we call these simulated pressures, where it looks like a blitz, but they're really only bringing 4, and it wasn't getting home. They got to find ways to get after Matt Corral, and I think that means bringing a few extra guys.
Corral swings it to the outside. Great blocking on the edge. And fighting forward is Chase Rogers. Little rub route to open up Rogers for a gain of 7.
That time brought 5. You know, they had a plan to blitz the edges early.
Yeah.
But Ole Miss started throwing that quick hitch to replace the corner, and that got Indiana out of that quickly. But here you go.
Corral steps up, goes deep down the sideline, plenty of air. And Jonathan Mingo 2 steps away from the home run ball.
Now they came back to it. Right, a couple times early, Ole Miss was able to throw to replace that blitzer. This time, they bring the blitz. Didn't quite hit home, but it speeds up Matt Corral's process. He sees that coming, steps up. Let's go with this one with a little more juice and a little earlier than he would have liked to. That results in that overthrow.
Corral taking his time, comes to Drummond. Makes a first man miss. A little stiff arm will get him another 5 yards. Great effort by Ontario Drummond, the senior from Laurel, Mississippi. They'll move the chain on a gain of 16. Just a 4-man rush. Indiana wasn't set defensively. Corral now will scramble. And he reaches forward for a gain of 6 on first down.
It's great coverage on the backside for Indiana. Devon Matthews, free safety back there, is the communicator, but
Corral just went down immediately.
He's got his right hand on that right hamstring.
I think he's
kind of shook his head like he's okay, but
yeah, that's a cramp. That's a hammy cramp. Those are the worst.
I'll tell you guys, it is muggy down here. It's hot, and talked to both teams, coaches and players coming off that I could before the game, and they're a little bit concerned about just hadn't had a lot of practices in temperatures like this.
You think you're sweating more because of the heat or because you just housed a blooming onion?
I've been sweating so much the entire day, I don't really know what caused it, but I feel like it was genetics.
The onion sweats down there. That breath is going to be bad. It's a good thing.
I do not want to be
within 15 yards.
I do not want to sit next to him on the flight. Plumlee getting loose for Ole Miss.
You think about what a problem that is, even if Matt Corral's out for one play. John Rice Plumlee, your backup quarterback, has been a wide receiver. Only 5 scholarship receivers available for Lane Kiffin today.
So you lose a spot there, and Plumlee has had limited time, and he's cramping up again. He's had limited time in the quarterback room. He was there through Tuesday, then went back out with the wide receivers later in the week. John Rice Plumlee's been busy. 1,000-yard rusher last year as Ole Miss's starting quarterback, and he's played wide receiver today. Taking some direct snaps. He's run the football. Handoff Henry Parrish left side. Parrish picks up the first down.
He's lined up at quarterback 3 times, running back 3 times, and wide receiver 16 times today already. Been all over the field. And again, like you mentioned, not a ton of reps at quarterback this week in practice. It's kind of hard to switch gears.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're playing receiver, everything's going fast. Now you got to slow your mind down, right, and be able to process plays that you didn't get a ton of reps at this week in practice.
And in the season, just 6 attempts for Plumlee. Handoff this time, and a few yards fought for. You're in an interesting scenario when you're on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster in that you were not only a backup quarterback, but scout team, you spent time on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, late in the season, we had receivers go down. I played offense at receiver. I was like, yeah, get me on the field. I want to play somewhere. It's so hard to play receiver. Then also was playing dime safety all over the place. It's hard to go back and forth, switch your mind back into quarterback mode, but Matt Corral back out there.
Corral's got time. Great hold by the O-line. Deep ball. Mingo Incomplete. Tough to throw against this Indiana secondary. That's Jalen Williams, a junior from Memphis.
And it was great coverage. They got Big Ten players all over the place. Jalen Williams, second team, all Big Ten. And this is a great job of just running stride for stride and locating the football. So he even made a play on the football there. It's Jonathan Mingo. It's a good, talented receiver out there. Great coverage.
Pressure up the middle. Corral option keeps it. And we'll see where the mark is. First down, Ole Miss.
If I'm Kane Womack, I'm bringing pressure on Corral. I'm making him move. I'm making him make quick, explosive movements, because that's one of those things with a hammy. Once it starts cramping up, the more explosive you are, the more that thing starts to linger and keep acting up.
Snoop Connor. Snoop Connor on the streak to the 5. 33-yard run straight ahead for the sophomore out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Connor again. Touchdown, Ole Miss.
Boy, tempo is a really hard thing. We mentioned the heat. They just made this defensive line run 30, 40 yards, lined up within a few seconds. Nice, easy handoff. But, man, those guys are sucking wind and tired out there. Tempo will do that to you.
Logan for the point after. 12-play, 87-yard drive. 3 minutes and 33 seconds to answer Indiana's 3 with 7 for the Rebs.
It's a great long run by Snoop Connor, then a short one on the back of tempo with their quarterback cramping up. It was all on the ground for Ole Miss.
There's a party on the Ole Miss sideline right now. Snoop Connor is the one that's overseeing it. No folding chairs on the Ole Miss sideline. Touchdown run for Connor after 7 during the season. And Ole Miss has a 20-6 lead. Indiana hasn't scored an offensive touchdown in the 2 bowl games they've been in over the last 2 years. A pick 6 last year against Tennessee in the Gator Bowl. But other than that, field goals. All right, let's talk tight ends here.
On any long run, you got to have a good block, let alone 2 good blocks. First one by center Ben Brown on Mike McFadden, just stones the linebacker. Then you're going to see Casey Kelly, who had a touchdown reception earlier in the game from that same position. Bam! Hit the middle linebacker there to spring Connor for the touchdown.
You see Casey Kelly kind of redirect on that insert there. It was actually frustrating for me when I went back and studied this Ole Miss offense. You feel like you have their tendency with where that H-back is lined up, and then all of a sudden they break off of it. In that alignment, the first 15 plays against LSU, Kelly came all the way across the line of scrimmage, and then you get one like that where he inserts.
Jeff Levy's eyes lit up in our meeting yesterday when you mentioned that to him. Here's Tuttle. And incomplete, still battling arm issues. But Cole said, hey, I'm looking at your H-backs. I don't see any tendencies. Every time I think I do, you go somewhere different. And Levy's like, that's the idea.
He kind of smirked. He's like, yeah, well, that's what we do in self-scout. That's what makes it so tough, that H-back. You will go into a game and say, hey, if he is on this hip of the tackle, it is an insert or to zone, or he's releasing out, and you'll feel like you have it. And then sometimes a team like Ole Miss will switch that up even mid-game, and it'll result in a big play.
That one was on target to Fillier. And he picks up 9 before being thrown down. Walk us through what Jack Tuttle's going through right now with his arm.
Yeah, I was just going to say, sometimes when you get a shoulder injury, it can almost feel like a nerve thing, like a dead arm in a way. And so some of these short throws, it looks like he's feeling like he has to throw it really hard. Because sometimes when you don't have the feeling you're used to, you feel like you got to rip the ball every time. That leads to some of the inaccuracies we saw before the half. But right now, for Jack Tuttle, hasn't been in this situation very much. You look at the scoreboard, 20-6. You got 8 minutes left in the third quarter. There's a lot of time. You don't need to press. Just protect the football right now, get the run game going, and continue to be efficient on those short passes.
15 of 29 for 106. Second career start. Big hit straight up the middle on a gain of 5 from Tim Baldwin Jr. On 2nd and 5, out to Fillier. Tried to lead him, and Fillier puts it upfield and lost the football. Recovered by Ole Miss. Jalen Jordan finds it on the turf, and the Rebels have another takeaway.
Recovery by Ole Miss.
That's a critical mistake. Whop Fillier, who's been really the best player on offense all day for Indiana, looks like he's trying to get the stiff arm here and just loses complete control of the ball. I'm not sure if Tylen Knight got a hand in there. Oh yeah, Tylen Knight came in with that right arm ripping through a guy that played running back as well, so he knows ball security. He knows those vulnerable positions, and that was a great play.
Indiana was tied for 4th in the country in turnover margin at +10. -2 today, and obviously when your offense turns it over, that's a bad thing, but it also has had their offense limited because almost a third of their points come after their defense takes the ball away, whether that's short fields or not. Corral trying to add to the lead, goes to the flat, and a gain of only 1 for Chase Rogers.
A dangerous time right now for Indiana. 2-score game right now. As the clock starts to tick in the third quarter, you got to have a stop here. Your offense is struggling.
Draw. Corral able to sneak forward for 3 after DeMarcus Elliott turned him around.
At this point, you start to count how many drives do we have left in a game. Right, if you're Indiana, you're maybe thinking we got 4 left, 4 or 5, depending on how things go. Ole Miss does go fast.
On 3rd down, Corral throwing past the sticks incomplete. We've seen Lane Kiffin go away from his analytics that he's so heavy on during the course of the season. And he told us yesterday, I'm not sure how that's going to fit into this game plan, but here's how it normally looks. Lane Kiffin on 3rd and long says, you know what, we're going to run it. 3rd and short, let's put it in the air because we're always in 4-down territory past the 30-yard line. And so that's our 4th down past the 40 sometimes. We're going to go for that. That has led to Ole Miss playing the analytics game, but he said yesterday, he goes, we're missing 80% of our offensive production.
Timeout.
I don't know how that's going to work. I may play it more conservatively in this game.
30-second timeout.
It's a feel thing, but again, you want to be careful saying, I feel like we should do this, I should do that, because the analytics are built to take the emotion out of it. It is a script. It says if you're up by this much or down by this much and it's 4th and whatever, you go for it or you kick.
And Kane Womack, the IU defensive coordinator, absolutely loves it. In fact, when he gets to South Al as their head coach, he and his offensive coordinator, Major Applewhite, he said, we've already had discussions. That's what we're going to do offensively. He can be an analytical defensive coordinator, too.
Very much so. And that was the first time I've talked to a D coordinator, and he says, we're an analytical team, too. Right? We'd see a bunch of offenses. I said, where does that come to fruition? I said, really on 3rd down. You got a team that's good on 3rd down. I'm going to be a little bit less pressure oriented on 1st and 2nd because I know I'm going to have to bring it on 3rd down. The team struggles on 3rd down. I'm going to pressure more on 1st and 2nd because Ole Miss will go for it so much on 4th. We've seen more pressures from Indiana on 1st and 2nd down.
Yeah, and they did that against Ohio State in that thriller in Columbus earlier this season too. They brought a lot of pressure on 2nd down and they got home often.
And that's just been the difference. They really haven't gotten home enough today against Matt Corral in this offense.
47-yard punt. 6 4:41 to go in the third quarter. It's Ole Miss by a pair of touchdowns.
It's what we all expected, right? Ole Miss to come out and be stout and disruptive on defense. Nah, not really. They haven't done that all year. But today, this defense has played extremely well. They've been opportunistic. They've gotten after Indiana quarterback Jack Tuttle. Haven't given up many explosive plays. Gotten the ball on the ground. That's been the story. I mean, we haven't seen this all year from Ole Miss. But hey, it's not 2020 anymore.
40 points allowed per game, 122nd in the country. Today they've only allowed 6. They flipped the script. Stevie Scott picks up 5 on first down. Cole, what did you see from Jack Tuttle when Indiana was out there on defense?
Followed in that entire series. Just wanted to see if anybody from the medical training staff was taking a look at the arm. He didn't favor the arm, wasn't trying to work it out, nothing like that. Got the third down. He went back over to the O-line pretty violently. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Saying we're going to win this game. We're going to win this game. Trying to rally the guys.
It would be a comeback if they're able to do it. Haven't won a bowl since '91. Back when Trent Green was the quarterback in Bloomington. 4 yards on that one. That'll set up 3rd and 2.
Indiana getting in their heavy set here. 2 tight ends in the game. You're going to win this. Got to be able to pick up yards on the ground and first downs on the ground right here.
They don't get it there. Only 1, and that will leave 4th and 1. They're going to leave the offense on the field and go for it. You like it?
I like it. If you can go with tempo and catch Ole Miss off guard, snap it quickly, quarterback sneak.
Tuttle with a shove from the backside. Got some help from Samson James.
I love what Jack Tuttle did right there. Me and Cole were talking about this the other day on the quarterback sneak. When you get guys in both A-gaps, everyone's stacking the middle there. 3 guys, center and 2 A-gaps. You got to find the soft spot in the B-gap. Jack Tuttle did a great job of just pausing for a second and shooting to the B-gap to pick that up.
A-gap on either side of the center. B-gap 1 over. Fred set it downs for the Hoosiers. They put Haggard back in at left tackle as Jones comes off the field. Fillier in the orbit. Pump to him. Looking deep. Check back down to number 1. Best receiver for Indiana. And he's taken down after a gain of 9. Lost his helmet. Fillier will have to come off the field for a play.
Indiana number 1 player, helmet came off.
It's a new Indiana Bowl record for receptions for Rob Fillier. It's his 12th of the game.
And a great job by Tuttle there. Remember, I mentioned you look up the scoreboard, you think you got to make play after play after play. Good job being patient, not taking a shot when it's not there, and getting it to your playmaker with green grass.
Fillier had 9 catches in the first half, 4th most in college football this season. A shove for a first down. Hey guys, Indiana trying to win its first bowl since the Copper back in 1991. It's their 5th bowl against the SEC, starting with the Peach in 1988. The 91 Copper Bowl was a key point for Indiana in their football history. Looked like they were building. Now Tom Allen's got him in back-to-back bowls for the first time. Here's Fillier trying to cut it back. And he takes it to the 45-yard line. Going to be just good enough for a first down. Let's take you back to the Copper Bowl. Grant Taft was the head coach at Baylor. New Year's Eve, 1991. Trent Green in the beautiful color unis. Crimson head to toe. And Indiana with a little bootleg for Green with the win against Baylor. 24-0. Haven't won a bowl since. Limited opportunities, as you could imagine. Tuttle steps up, scrambles, gets hit and goes down. Multiple left tackles in this game. Cole, what have you seen?
We don't often see a substitution in the middle of the drive, Tom, but you saw Caleb Jones come back out, went straight over to the trash can. Looked like he was about to vomit, did not. Now he's on the bench getting oxygen, put a cold towel around his neck, so heat obviously affecting him here in this game.
He's not the only one. Tyler Knight just left his lunch on the 30-yard line, defensive back for Ole Miss. Indiana left with a 2nd and 2. James bottled up, thrown for a loss. He goes backwards for 3.
Let's just hope we don't see that blooming onion somewhere on the field. Cole, you doing okay down there?
Good to go.
Okay.
No sprints for you, sir.
So one of the reasons maybe they're jumping tackles in and out, obviously we mentioned Caleb Jones, his size. Some limitations, being able to bend it with a speed rusher off the edge, and you bring in Luke Haggard, a little thinner, a little faster, and he's working on number 13, Sam Williams, right now on 3rd and long passing situation. Williams is going to be coming fast off the edge.
They love to run rub routes out of this formation with the trips on the left.
Look at you, Romo.
Yeah, let's see. Setting it up to Fillier with the screen.
That's going to be a hair short.
Yeah, it's going to be yards short.
Let's see if they go tempo here, back to that quarterback sneak.
They're thinking about it. Just outside of a yard to gain to keep this drive alive. Out of the shotgun now. Play clock winding down. Here's Scott. 1st down, couple yards more. Pickup of 3. These are the last 2 bowl games today. They're on ESPN and the app. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Number 25 Oregon battling number 10 Iowa State in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Then it's 5th ranked Texas A&M and number 13 North Carolina in the Capital One Orange Bowl at Hard Rock Stadium.
At some point, I feel like you gotta test them deep with Freifogel. Nothing but good things have happened, even if it's an incompletion. I've got a couple pass interference calls on the outside.
Looking for him deep. Now inside receiver, comeback incomplete. Miles Marshall, the intended receiver. Tuttle shaking that arm again.
Yeah, and he was just a hair late on it too. He was looking outside for Freifogel first. That corner you see on the right side was over the top, so he comes inside and just a hair too late, and you can tell maybe not the same velocity he's used to having on those throws.
When he signed with Utah, he was the highest rated quarterback in school history. Transferred into Indiana, 2nd start here today. Stevie Scott finds the edge, gets it blocking down the sideline. Scott scampers out of bounds at the 12-yard line. It's a 21-yard run.
Boy, that's a great job by Nick Sheridan on creating an opening and creating leverage issues with the formation. They stacked everybody into the boundary, and look at the space that's created at the top of the screen there. The force guy is playing 10 yards off the ball, and the tight end has an easy block. It's a great job by Sheridan.
Longest play of the game. Now Mex up on the mesh, and Tuttle flips down for a gain of 9. 3rd quarter is going to come to an end with Indiana seizing momentum behind a battle-tested quarterback, at least on the injury front. Tuttle trying to grit his way through an Indiana comeback. Number 11 Hoosiers trail by 2 touchdowns as we head to the 4th quarter. Thriller here as we head to the 4th quarter at the Outback Bowl. It's a 20-6 lead for Ole Miss, but Indiana knocking on the door. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers. Jack Tuttle's giving IU everything he can so far in this one. What do they need to do?
Yeah, he's gutting it out. They have to convert for a touchdown here, and they got to continue to have success on the ground, double their production from the first half in that quarter already.
Tuttle has relied on Fillier. 14 of his completions are there, and now they'll go Wildcat here. Stevie Scott takes a snap straight ahead over the goal line and in. Touchdown, Indiana on a Wildcat. IU was a victim of a Tennessee comeback in their bowl game last year, and now they're trying to turn the tables at Ole Miss.
Yeah, I love the play call. Wildcat, get physical, get an extra blocker at point tap. Really well-called drive by offensive coordinator Nick Sheridan. A couple creative ways to open up big runs for Indiana.
A 15-play, 80-yard drive. Point after is good. We've got a touchdown game just 4 seconds into the fourth quarter. And now let's take a look at the Bowl Challenge Cup standings, brought to you by Progressive. Big 12 undefeated, 4-0 thus far. Big 10 3-0. Another win for the Big 10 would have Ohio State taking home a national title.
That's what happened last time they faced Alabama. Cardell Jones, Ezekiel Elliott beat him in the first round of the playoffs that year.
We opened this broadcast talking about the importance of this game to Indiana and how Tom Allen has been stressing the importance of it to his team as they get ready for the bowl. Talking to folks around their program, the practices and the band for excellence has felt like a Super Bowl, like it's the biggest game in Indiana history.
And I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, the one more, no more. Yeah, there's a lot of excuses out there. Get your backup quarterback in. He's banged up. He could go in one of different ways, a million different ways, talking about why you're where you are in this game, but it doesn't matter. One more, no more. This team has been built to finish.
They've upgraded. Now 2 folding chairs on the Indiana sideline as part of the dance mob.
Pretty soon, someone's going to have a couple Gatorades and they're chugging it. Well, Steve Austin down there.
No return. Tom Allen's got a card in his office that illustrates how close they were to beating Tennessee last year. He said the opening win against Penn State, in which they came back down 8, minute 42 to go. Michael Penix Jr. led them on a game-tying drive, then won it in overtime. He said that one play was the difference for our program, gave us the confidence that we needed. And it's been a season of records for Indiana. Wide toss that time. And a pickup of 7. The success the last 2 seasons for Indiana has been absolutely remarkable. Big part of it has been the defense. Consecutive winning seasons, first time since the 90s, as they push it on the ground and pick up a first down. And Ole Miss with a fresh set of downs. They're going to try and keep it to tempo. Back-to-back bowl appearances. Only 3 bowls in the previous quarter century for Indiana. Ole Miss cares not for our graphics package. The Rebels try to go tempo and just keep things moving. Pickup of 2 that time for Henry Parrish Jr. But to summarize, this is an Indiana team that is on the climb, and if it wasn't for the Big Ten remaking their rules on the fly, they would have had an opportunity to play in the Big Ten title game.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Penn State win. Sometimes it's moments like that that really galvanize a football team.
Deep out, complete. Dontario Drummond, first down. Ole Miss, a pickup of 27.
And help them turn the corner on the confidence they need. They're going to need that confidence down the stretch, and they're going to need to find a way to slow down Matt Corral. I wonder if Kane Womack, defensive coordinator for Indiana, starts coming back to some of the pressures. Force the issue a little bit here in the fourth quarter.
Indiana late getting a man off the field. Parrish turns it upfield, and he's got a 12-yard run on first down. Indiana trying to run subs in and out.
Defense. More than 11 players on the field. That penalties decline. Result of the play. First down.
And
timeout. Injured Indiana player.
Javon Swan, grad transfer from Stanford, is slow to get up. Ole Miss on the move again, trying to answer the Indiana touchdown with one of their own. I've had 17 of these. Welcome back to the Outback Bowl as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kubelik. That awaits the winner. No on-field trophy ceremony. That'll go straight to the locker room for the winning team. Ole Miss trying to reestablish itself after the Indiana touchdown. Matt Corral wasting no time, moving the Rebels down the field. Back on the ground to Henry Parrish Jr., who picks up 4. No Jarian Ely in this game for Ole Miss, their starting running back, who's gone for 9 touchdowns and leads them in yards. No Elijah Moore, no Braylon Sanders, no Kenny Yeboah, all leaders at their positions for the Rebels this season. Very slow developing play and nowhere to go for Snoop Connor.
And a heck of a play by Micah McFadden. All right, the biggest neck circumference on the field. That man is built to play linebacker. That was a great play to get through here.
The field outside of Tequila Spikes, maybe in the country.
Yeah, you're right.
Played his high school ball about 4 miles south of here at Plant High School in Tampa. Gave us Pete Alonso, Gallagher. That's varied. Here's Connor again. Picks up just a yard.
So I followed up with McFadden and asked him, I said, what are you doing on that neck machine? He's like, I thought 345s on there, 3 plates.
That's it. Just 135 pounds.
A lot of people can't bench that. He's in there doing neck exercises with it.
I don't think I could bench that right now. Tom, where are you at?
No chance. 3rd team All-America, 1st team All-Conference. Had a pick in the Gator Bowl last year. He was so excited to get back home to Tampa. Here's a 37-yard attempt for Logan. He's already made from 26 and 24. Strong leg, but goes wide. And Indiana holds Ole Miss after an impressive drive to that point. Here we go. Ole Miss misses the opportunity. Early in the 4th quarter, it's the Hoosiers in their dream season down just a touchdown.
The Outback Bowl on ABC is brought to you by Outback Steakhouse and in part by Mercari. Buy and sell almost anything from home with Mercari, your marketplace.
Speaking of next, David Pollock look in there. He was up early after a late night. Sports Center this morning. Outback Bowl continues. Indiana down a touchdown. Here's Fillier again. 15th catch of the night. Let's get you to the studio, Matt Berry. All right, Matt, thanks. And right now, the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, Kentucky up on NC State 23-14, trying to put the finishing touches on the pack. Tuttle steps up. Here's Stevie Scott. And an Indiana first down. 14 yards. Caleb Jones back in at left tackle. The door continues to revolve. Scott can't escape the grip of Sam Williams. Picks up a yard and a half.
I mean, you think at this point that you'd say Ole Miss has got to have all their attention on Whop Fillier. Maybe you go somewhere else, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Your only goal right now is to move the sticks. You can't get 6 points all in one play, so keep chipping away. You're Jack Tuttle and offensive coordinator Nick Sheridan.
We've illustrated Ole Miss's struggles on defense through the course of the season. They've been especially vulnerable in the 4th quarter. 4th most points allowed in the 4th quarter in the FBS this year. Incomplete. Bounced straight off Scott's hands. Ole Miss trails only Arkansas State, North Texas, and Florida in 4th quarter points allowed this year.
Third long here. Sam Williams, number 13, rushing on the edge against Caleb Jones, the big tackle. They put a tight end there probably to help. Oh, no, they moved him. He's one-on-one on the edge there.
Williams laid off the ball. Tuttle has the pocket. Caught! First down, Indiana! Miles Marshall climbs the ladder for an 18-yard gain.
Boy, Miles Marshall, this is a heck of a catch. Two guys in one spot. Probably one of them's wrong. And Marshall, who dropped a wide-open touchdown against Wisconsin, probably would have been a 50-yard touchdown, making up for it there with a huge grab.
No matter who was wrong, Marshall looks right. Tuttle looking for Freifogel, a bump and a flag. Pass interference on Ole Miss. Miles battle flagged.
Pass interference. Defense, number 6. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
I'll tell you what, it's like clockwork. There haven't been many completions down the sideline to Freifogel, but there's been a lot of pass interference calls that have been generated the last 2 games for Indiana. On this one, yeah, little tug and the feet get crossed there with Miles Battle, who used to be a wide receiver.
Here's Baldwin. He picks up 9. Cole, Ole Miss looking winded on the defensive side.
A lot of hands on hips, a lot of players bent over. I mean, both sides, Tom, obviously. Caleb Jones is back out getting oxygen on the sideline again. I think every lineman that's in this game, one way or the other, looks dead.
Yeah, so Luke Hager back at left tackle. Freifogel in zone, just beyond his reach. Coverage that time by Battle. Huge third down for Indiana. Filliard, number 1, has 15 catches on the game. He comes into the slot on the near side.
So formation that they've run to the top here to the left, stack everybody to the boundary.
They need 1 for the first down. Scott hit in the backfield. And they whistle his forward progress stopped. And that'll be short of the first down. ACC crew sounded like an early whistle.
Jaquez Jones with a huge stop there. As I say, that's a formation they've ran that same play out of a couple times. They've had some success, but look at Jones off the edge. I don't know if they should have blown it that early. Tuttle got in there and he started moving almost right away. Either way, look at this. Hurt shoulder, throwing his right shoulder, the one that's been hurting him all game in there. And
loss of 1. It'll leave 4th and 2. The throw, an extra tackle on the right side, and Ole Miss didn't like the look. Pardon me, Indiana didn't. And the Hoosiers will use a timeout. To set up a 4th and 2.
Tell you what, last few times in short yardage, Ole Miss has really jammed everything up on the inside. Indiana started the game with a boot play fake. Yep. Jack Tuttle got on the edge. Look, he's not a dual threat guy, but he's athletic enough to get him on the edge, leak a tight end out or somebody in the flats to give him a 2-way go. I know the easy thing would be say, let's just hand it off. But last couple times, they haven't got a ton of push in the interior. I wonder if you think, let's get our quarterback on the edge with 2-way go.
We've mentioned all the guys that Ole Miss is missing on the offensive end. On the defensive end, Lakia Henry is not playing in this game. So Momo Sonogo has taken over at Mike linebacker. Cole, what's the key for Ole Miss here? Not just on the 4th and 2, but if they get it the remainder of the drive.
Well, I think it's penetration, finding a way to disrupt, especially that running game, like you mentioned. And the protection's been pretty good for the majority of the game outside of 13, Sam Williams. But for me, 93 Sincere David has been the guy that has penetrated and disrupted the most on the interior of this Ole Miss defensive line. And I don't think he's even going to be out there on this play.
DJ Durkin hustles back to the sideline, got his defense set.
Watch for a quick snap here.
Tuttle runs up to the line. They need 2. Filliard's in the backfield. Play action. Flag on the play. Filliard has the first down. We've got multiple flags down. Ole Miss had 12 men on the field coming off the sideline.
It's a bold move, Cott.
Usually doesn't work.
Defense, more than 11 players on the field.
After timeout.
Result in the play. First down.
You can't have that. I was talking about a play action, getting him outside the pocket. Similar concept here. You go hard play action to sell the power to the right, and you leak the tight end. Look at the tight end.
Yeah,
I mean, you're never going to fault a quarterback for taking the easy throw in the flats, but you had a tight end there for a touchdown.
Fourth down conversion now to the shotgun. Scott hit first by Reese. Keeps grinding for 4. Indiana can get a first down without a touchdown. It's 2nd and 6 from the 7.
We're going to start Whop Philyor in the backfield here. Let's see if they motion him out.
Philyor with 16 catches on the day. Flag. Movement.
False start. Number 76. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Matthew Bedford, sophomore from Cordova, Tennessee.
They bring him out and put Caleb Jones, who's been at left tackle all game, at right tackle. It's not easy to switch sides that frequently during the game.
And one of the reasons he didn't make the switch like Matthew Bedford did for a left-handed quarterback was so that it felt more comfortable with him always having been at left.
Same motion for Philyor. Now he cuts back on 2nd and 11. Scott to the 5. Ball got popped out. I think Indiana's mad they blew the whistle early again.
That is 2 really quick whistles. The quick whistle and the short one where Tuttle started pushing his running back. And that's a really quick whistle there, too.
Especially in this day and age with the running back carrying the ball. You almost expect to see that when a quarterback is in the grass where there's pressure in the backfield. This is a different scenario. You got a 2-time all-conference running back in the Big Ten. He's used to the contact. They stood him up, stopped him, 3rd down. Scott, little low and late, but a flag. Hendershot wide open in the end zone. Didn't see him. In fact, the flag came right over Hendershot's shoulder. Five-yard penalty would give Indiana first down.
We're going to show you in a second here, but the 4th and 2, even though there was a conversion, Jack Tuttle missed a tight end wide open.
Defense, number 46. Pass on the other line of scrimmage. Reported an automatic first down. That's the distance to the goal.
And on this play right here, they get the call, but watch Hendershot. Nobody there. And it's tough for backup quarterbacks to play. They've probably repped it every time they've said it's going to go here. The running back's been open.
Tuttle splits out wide. It's Scott to take the snap. Straight ahead. Touchdown! Indiana from 2 yards out. Second touchdown of the game for Stevie Scott.
Go back to the Wildcat down on the goal line. But I tell you what, that's an answer. That is finishing for Indiana. Something that Tom Allen, their head coach, continues to preach. Be able to finish late in games, and when they needed it, that is a huge drive by this offense that struggled all day.
Charles Campbell to tie it. Just inside the upright. 5:58 to go in the 4th quarter. We got a flag after the kick. Stevie Scott, 2nd rushing touchdown. Set the stage.
After the play, sportsmanlike conduct, number 73, Indiana. The 5-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. That is number. The extra point is good.
Tim Weaver just gifted Ole Miss some field position late in this game. First ever meeting between the Rebels and the Hoosiers has turned into a classic. Number 11, Indiana, has fought back to tie this. Jack Tunnell and Stevie Scott for the Hoosiers. Back to Tampa in a moment. On Monday, January 11th, we are blowing out our broadcast of the College Football National Championship presented by AT&T. We call it a mega cast. We'll have you covered from every platform, TV, radio, and digital. So many ways to watch and listen to the biggest game of the year. Pull up a chair. Or if you're an Indiana player, put it above your head.
It's like an ECW match down here. Waiting for a kendo stick and barbed wire.
I mean, it kind of goes with the mullet haircuts all over the sideline too, you know?
After the penalty of good field position, Dennis Jackson will take this one on the run at the 15. Jackson trying to find the edge. And he gets spun down at the 37-yard line. 5:51 remaining. What's Matt Corral thinking in terms of what they can execute here?
Well, I think it's status quo, right? They've done a good job of moving the football, but it's protecting the football. We talked about it earlier in the game for Matt Corral. He's either been really hot and careful with the football, or there's been times he's had a propensity to turn it over. Right now, don't force. Can't force throws that aren't there. Keep taking what Indiana is giving you. They played over the top, and he's done a good job so far of taking the easy throws.
They'll switch and bring Plumlee in. Corral now in the slot. And Henry Parrish Jr. earns 3.
The interesting thing to take note of for Ole Miss is how they use tempo, right? Traditional offense right now, you'd love to milk some of that clock, but Ole Miss doesn't do well slowing things down. Their offense needs to go and break speed all the time.
Plumlee the catch. A quarterback until today, filling in with the depleted wide receiving core. And that quick tempo hasn't taken much off the clock, and now Ole Miss looking at a huge third down.
Keep an eye on pressure up the middle from Indiana.
Here it comes to the slant. Plumlee's got it, and a flag. A first down if it stands. Jeff Levy said the biggest thing they worked on with John Rice Plumlee is catching in traffic.
Defense, number 3. Penalties
that is so hard, Tom. That is so hard for someone who has never done it. He didn't do it in high school. He hasn't done it here. He hasn't done it until this week. He is a quarterback. That is a great route and a great catch. Someone that expected to be their starter this year hasn't been a focal piece of this offense, is coming up huge today for Ole Miss.
He has elite speed. Corral looking for him again. Here he is! John Rice Plumlee up the numbers to the outside, and he takes it to the 5. 45-yard catch and run.
The play design, hard play action, gets all those linebackers to look at Matt Corral, and you slip Plumlee with the speed right past him.
What a matchup. Parrish bottled up after a pickup of 2.
I mean, this was what I was saying about milking the clock, right? You don't if you're Ole Miss, but still a lot of time on this clock. They need to punch this one in, and Indiana will still have a shot if they do.
A lot of things they do would be thought of as non-traditional, maybe 10 years ago. Play action, Corral fires. That is caught in the end zone for an Ole Miss touchdown. Threading the needle to Ontario Drummond. Matt Corral was a shortstop growing up in high school. That was a Fernando Tatis-like fastball.
Yeah. Threaded the needle there into tight coverage. Ontario Drummond. Let's see if he had possession while he's still over the line here. Bobbles it a little bit there. It's tough to tell when he gains that possession. Not sure if they're going to take a look at this.
Haven't buzzed down yet. Still haven't. Kick is away. And it's wide right.
Wow.
The door is open for Indiana.
This is a great throw in tight coverage from Matt Corral. A little bit of juggling there at the line of scrimmage. But a touchdown nonetheless, and then a big miss for Ole Miss, and the door open for Indiana, who's going to have a shot when we come back.
The national championship game presented by AT&T, Alabama and Ohio State, next Monday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And we'll have you covered from every platform you can imagine, TV, radio, and digital. Third missed extra point of the season for Luke Logan, and SEC worse has left the door open for Indiana. Ole Miss leading by 6 with 4:12 remaining. Fair catch taken by Ellis. Let's take a look at today's Players Spotlight, brought to you by Macari. And what a day for Rob Fillier, a Big Ten bowl record and an IU record, 16 receptions.
Haven't been chunk plays, and probably took about 10 off the board on the one play where he ran backwards as well, but it's helped move the sticks, and it's gotten Jack Tuttle in his second start of his career comfortable, and they've moved the ball through the air just enough. He's going to need a few more, though. We haven't seen those rub routes, the crossing routes, at all so far this game. Something Indiana has done a lot this season.
Tie into last year, a missed extra point for Indiana cost them the Gator Bowl in a Tennessee comeback. Here's Stevie Scott. Scott, straight up the middle. Stevie Scott from upstate New York. He's a Syracuse guy who wears number 8. It reminds us of the great Floyd Little. 4 + 4 is 8. The legendary number 44 passed away yesterday at age 78. Scott recruited to Indiana by Mike Hart, who's from the same area. All-time leading rusher in Michigan history, the running backs coach here at IU. And that touchdown that he had on the last drive put him in elite company with Antoine Randall and Anthony Thompson, the third player in Indiana history with double-digit rushing touchdowns. Out to Fillier. Nowhere to go.
There's not a ton of room there into the boundary. Gotta think at some point there's going to be a shot down the sideline of Freifogel with, what is it, 2 pass interferences I think he's drawn this game on those.
Three minutes to go in regulation. Tuttle, crossing route. There's Ellis trying to get all the way across the field. He's got an Indiana first down and a few more into Ole Miss territory on a gain of 18.
Another really good play design here by Nick Sheridan. Freifogel actually running up the seam, takes a linebacker and a safety with him, which opens up that vacancy underneath for a big gain on an easy throw for Jack Tuttle.
Ellis straight ahead. Fans tune in to the ESPN app for the Capital One host game immediately following the game. They throw Marshall on the left side. Tuttle hands it off again. David Ellis picks up 3. Under 2 minutes to go. 3rd and short.
Quarterback sneak here.
Tuttle finds space. Just like you said on the previous one, able to move down the line to find a soft spot.
Yeah, a lot of times guys just want to go straight as quick as possible, but oftentimes there's gaps in the B gap, sometimes even C gap if you get over there. And you saw they offset the running back almost to the C gap there to help block for Tuttle.
Indiana changed left tackles again in the middle of this drive.
Caleb Jones letting some go on the sideline right now.
Here's Fillier on the reception. Hit immediately. Taken down before getting out of bounds, and Tom Allen will have to use a timeout after a loss of 2.
Timeout.
1:18 remaining.
That's the second timeout.
Tyler Knight with a big play there. Knight forced the fumble earlier in the game. That time broke on that little slip screen that Indiana keeps coming back to, like going bunching to the boundary. Easy throw for Tuttle, but there's just not a lot of space to operate over there, and Tyler Knight read that one really easily.
Indiana has used the timeout, and at the same time, there's an injured Ole Miss player, Quentin Bivens. So Bivens being tended to. Indiana will have a 2nd and 12. Can't make it to the playoff in Miami? Join us virtually for the College Football Playoff All Access Experience, featuring exclusive content and the chance to win prizes. Register today at collegefootballplayoff.com/all-access. Maybe one of the prizes would be sharing a bloomin' onion with Cole.
I don't think Cole's going to share.
You won't get much.
Fair point.
Yeah, it's probably gone, honestly.
I'll give you the coconut shrimp, though.
All right. 2nd and 12 now. Where does IU go?
I think you got to find space for Watt Fillier, but not on those slip screens we've been seeing towards the side. I like when they work him up on those option routes. Out of a 3-receiver set, you're going to see one to the boundary here.
They got a new left tackle and a new right guard now.
I think those boys are winded up front.
I believe so. Pressure coming. Nowhere to go. Can't afford to take a sack, and that's what happens to Jack Tuttle. It's a loss of 6.
This is just inexperience, right? You don't have a ton of starts under your belt. One thing you can't afford to do is take a sack, turn a bad play into a negative play. Ball's got to come out, whether it's a throwaway, anything except that.
Third and St. Pete now for Indiana.
Don't need it all here, right? Pick up half. You can go for it on 4th.
Tuttle, pocket collapses, lets it go. Got a man. Jump ball incomplete. And the season comes down to a 4th and 18 for Indiana.
One intended for Watt Fillier. Been the target for Jack Tuttle all day. But here on 4th down, with the season on the line, I gotta think Ty Freifogel is gonna get a ball in his direction at the bottom of the screen right here. That's the jump ball guy I'd go to.
He's matched up with Keaton Smith, who's already been flagged for PI twice in this game. Timeout called by Allen. He wanted it, didn't get it. Tuttle in the grass, incomplete. Tom Allen was racing down the sideline to try and stop the clock before the snap. The officials didn't give him the timeout. And Ole Miss, with the pressure, forces a turnover on downs. Flag on Fillier, who was right behind the line judge, who did not grant the timeout.
See Tom Allen here at the bottom of the screen.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 1, Indiana. 15-yard penalty. The 1st down, Ole Miss.
The line judge, same one who had a couple early whistles on that previous Indiana drive. He didn't blow his whistle then. It was bang, bang. It was right at that moment as the ball was being snapped off.
Yeah, I mean, he came from distance. If he was closer to the ref, maybe he gets in his peripheral. But right there, the ref's got to have his eyes downfield on the line of scrimmage. Yeah, tough break for Indiana.
Ole Miss will slow the tempo. Indiana has 1 timeout remaining. It was indeed a magical season for Indiana. On the other side for Ole Miss, what a building block for Lane Kiffin. New contract, or extension of it at least this morning, with his dad in the stands watching. where he made history with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss are going to get an Outback Bowl victory.
And what a credit to Matt Corral and Lane Kiffin and Jeff Levy. They had 75% of their offensive production out today. Their superstars were out, and they still were able to generate almost 500 yards of total offense against a really good Indiana defense.
Matt Corral, the California kid, was so happy to come to Florida with the sunshine. A comfortable trip for him, and he's today's Capital One Player of the Game. With a bunch of second stringers, really, he throws for 342 and a couple of touchdowns. And Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss knock off Indiana 26-20. Let's take another look at the 4th down for Indiana. Trying to extend by with Tom Allen begging for a timeout.
Yeah, it was 94. Quentin Bivens here with just an effort pass rush. Just kept pushing. Finally got home to Jack Tuttle. Boy, he fought hard all day. And only his 2nd start ever, but credit to Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss for finishing the season on a high note.
Rebels defense much maligned all season. They allow only 20 in this one. Oregon and Iowa State currently playing on ESPN, the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. What a way to ring in the new year for Lane Kiffin and his buddy Matt Corral. For Jordan Rogers and Cole Kublik, I'm Tom Hart. So long from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Our final score, the Ole Miss Rebels go to 5-5 on the season with a 26-20 victory over Indiana as the Hoosiers fall for just the 2nd time in a 6-2 year. Capital One postgame show coming up next on the ESPN app. Have a fantastic January 2nd, everybody. Capital One. We will be right back after this message.
Whoa, Susan.
Oh, I'm looking for coupon codes.
Well, Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them. It calls shopping smart, not hard.
But I don't have a Capital One card.
You should get one, but you don't need it for this. Just download Capital One Shopping to your computer. It's free.
Ooh, save me some cheddar.
So, when's the party? I love fondue.
Really?
I never joke about hot cheese, Susan.
Me neither.
Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
Tom Hart, Jordan Rogers, Cole Kublik, our Capital One Player of the Game. Quarterback Matt Corral.
He was special all day with all of his weapons out. No Jerry O'Neal, no Elijah Moore, no Kenny Yeboah, and still finding ways to get guys the ball downfield in chunk plays. He extended some plays with his legs and did a great job of protecting the football. Even in moments like this, where Indiana was all over him, to hit big plays downfield time and time again. And how about John Rice Plumlee, the quarterback? Came up huge as well as a late addition weapon for Matt Corral.
Final drive of the day for Ole Miss before the victory formation. Matt Corral, Capital One Player of the Game. For Jordan Rogers, Cole Kublik, our sensational producer, Tom Schofield, and everybody back in Charlotte. Tom Hart saying so long from Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida. Our final score, Ole Miss 26, Indiana 20. Thanks for watching the Capital One postgame.